Welcome to the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard. I'm David Quinter. Jonathan Cox will be with me momentarily. For week 9 is in the books. And as me and my man there were talking as I came in, he said, we've been lucky. And boy, we have been lucky this year as far as BBB goes. Channel 12 with our high school football. COVID is affecting everybody everywhere. And, I've got a light hood shirt on tonight. Weather has changed outside. This does feel like high school football always as we make that transition from the August months into the latter part of the year here as we're getting down to, you can tell we're getting close to the end and getting close to playoffs because the weather changes. So, let's make the speech again this week. Every Friday night that I've been here, I made the same speech. Continue on, do what you're doing, folks. Wear the mask, social distance, wash your hands, do all that stuff. All right? Just do it. If you want kids to play high school football. If you don't wear it then. Maybe your team's on a roll right now and going to go to the playoffs, make a deep run, maybe affect somebody, affect the whole team. So don't do it then if that's how you feel. Don't let running some kids' high school senior year, don't let that affect you one bit. Just do it. And it seems like everybody has been doing it. It has affected a lot of teams. Congratulations to most of them being able to, I'm not going to say limp through it, but make it through it, I think is the better way. There are some games that we're waiting on to hear some finals from. One will be a big interest for me and around this area would affect, Oak Ridge. We're waiting to see the Oak Ridge game that's going on right now. So we're waiting to hear with Mount Juliet, see what's there. As I was getting in the car, it was a tight game. It was 27-21. The Fulton-Campbell County game, 27-26. I don't know the score, final of that game yet. We'll be waiting on the final of that one. Meigs and Oneida was fairly close at one point. I don't know what it is now. It could be a runaway. A score I heard just before the guys went off the air said that Elizabethton was up big on Greenville. So a future foe down the road a few weeks from now for Anderson County and something for them to, I'm not going to say worry about, but look, something I'll have to look forward to. So just as soon as, old Harriman tonight had to do a COVID game, or, possibility their season might be done with. Nobody knows yet, but I think their very last game of the year, not next week, but the next, they normally have a bye that week. I'm assuming that's the same schedule as they've always had. So I think another game that was played. There was 2 games played last night that I know of. One I watched briefly. I just be honest, I couldn't watch a Catholic Baylor game. It just didn't. I just couldn't watch it. It wasn't exciting, and I just couldn't watch it. It didn't interest me not one bit. So, but the game which wasn't on TV that a man couldn't watch was Halls and Central. And Central loses to Halls last night, the team that's been out on COVID a couple times. And, I don't know, maybe the run in 5A for Central is over. So be interested tonight if we get the chance to talk to Jesse Smithey, if he feels the same way as I do. Odds are he probably won't, but I think Central season could be short and sweet once it's in the playoffs. But with all that being said, there's some big games coming up. I think next week is Powell and Oak Ridge. I'm not for sure where that game is. Maybe somebody knows and somebody will call and tell me where that game is. But that will be a huge ball game for somebody. And then a little bit later on tonight, and I won't get no phone calls about how powerful Tennessee's offensive line is. Not talking to you about it tonight. They're pitiful. They got whipped every which way but funny. You know, what else do you say? They got manhandled. They looked like a high school team playing a college team. That's about what it looked like, offensively and defensively too. In the second half, did not play well at all. And I know there's loyal Tennessee fans out here. I talk about them we talk about them every Friday night. Tomorrow's game's not a pushover. Not a pushover. Not by any means of imagination does anybody need to think tomorrow's game's a pushover, because it's not. Just because Kentucky's coming down here doesn't mean anything. You know, Tennessee sort of got lucky last year to beat them at the end of the game. So I've not decided which way I'm going yet. I might a little later on, around the 11:15, 11:30 there. I'm sure we'll venture into college football. But anyway, week 9's in the books. Kingston tonight played Alcoa. Alcoa does what they normally do. You know, they take Kingston down. I'm not going to say I expected anything any different, but I thought it might be maybe just a little bit more competitive, even though everybody says Alcoa's got a really good football team. So we'll, you know, in that classification, Alcoa is the icing on the cake. They're the team that you've got to beat, just like Maryville's the team that you got to beat on the other side. So we'll see as the season plays out. I seen where Loudon won again tonight, and you know, Loudon's Mr. Regular Season, all about it. And then when you get in the playoffs, you got to beat Alcoa. You got to beat the Tornadoes, and if you're not able to beat the Tornadoes, then you go home. And you know, you can have a great regular season. There's a few teams around here like that has great regular seasons, and then come playoff time, they got some nemesis they just can't get over. But one interesting game next week that I've not talked about, and man, I might just go down there next Friday night. It's so close to the station here that I might make the trip to Coalfield next Friday night. I've not been to a high school football game in the last couple of years, but I might make the trip Friday night down to Coalfield for that high school football game. That is always a terrific ball game. It is one heck of a place to go watch a football game. I'm sure they probably won't be no social distancing in Coalfield next Friday night. It'll be packed. You better get there early if you want a seat. It'll be packed though, so I might make the trip down next Friday night and see that game. I'll have to see how the weather plays out and everything, and see about getting out for that game, because that would be a very interesting game to go watch next Friday night. You know, that's got some big implications on it too, but another really good football game. And I'm not for sure who Anderson County has next week. I don't know that neither. See where Scott County wins tonight over Northview Academy. Pretty good ball game there, it looks like. I guess Oak Ridge and Mount Juliet's a final. If it's up here, I'm assuming it is. 27-21, the Wildcats. You know, and at halftime, I seen some stats. Of Anderson County and I guess it's Chattanooga Central who they played tonight. Not for sure it's a Chattanooga team, okay? 11 yards total offense. -1 rushing. No first downs. Wow. I feel sorry for them. I mean, I do. And it looked like, I don't know how big a school that is, but, and maybe they got some kids hurt. Looked like they didn't have many players neither. It looked like maybe 2022. You know, you hear that at Sunbright and Oakdale, and places like that, real small schools that don't have a lot. But like I said, I don't know how big a school the Chattanooga team is that Anderson County played tonight, but and something big tonight to be able to talk to Cox. I got a couple questions for Cox. I'm gonna pose the question that I posed to everybody last week. I think we got a couple calls on it. I did not. I believe I was only at Food City one time this week. I got jumped there about something completely different. We'll talk about that a little later on in the evening. I want to talk about that maybe when Richie Knows at home. I want to get his, hopefully maybe he'll call and comment on that a little bit. As a matter of fact, they were jumping me because I didn't talk about it last Friday night. I didn't know nothing about it, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Then I'll ask Cox a question that the gentleman asked me at the store a couple of weeks ago, is if I thought Anderson County could compete and win the region that West, Powell, and all them are in right now. And I say compete most definitely. I don't know about winning it, but compete most definitely. So we'll see what Cox has to say about that. Also, the new numbers are out with a TSSAA. It looks like between Anderson County and Clinton, there's only about maybe 14, 15 students, something like that. It's really close. I think Clinton has maybe 14 more than AC's got. So that tells me that probably AC and Clinton might be headed in the same direction next year as far as classifications. I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know where the cutoff's going to be from 6 to 5 and from 5 to 4. That'll be interesting. Then what was really interesting to see was the guys talked about tonight as they were going off the air was what the attendance was at Oliver Springs now, how much it had dropped. Well, there's 200 and some kids down there. And that's a big drop. I think they said Wartburg dropped some too. Coalfield's around 200 and something. So it's going to be interesting to see where all the classifications. I don't know if we'll know about the classifications before the end of the year here, but we're down as far as regular season games go. We're down minus tonight. We've got 2 more Friday nights of regular season football. And then we'll go into what we call playoff mode around here. And, you know, we'll go as far as what Oak Ridge and Anderson County want to take us. And then it'll depend on where those games are at, whether we have a football show. I'm sure we'll go a couple weeks into the playoffs. That's traditionally what happens here. And then we'll pack the bags up for the winter, and we'll see everybody again next year in August. And hopefully, and I pray to the big man upstairs that maybe there'll be a vaccine or something come out for this COVID, and we can quit talking about this. I'm almost tired of talking about it every Friday night. Maybe I'll just let them record me for the first 30 minutes of the show, and I just talk about that, and then I can come a little later. He's laughing in the back at me for saying that, but that's the truth. I've preached it every Friday night for 9 weeks. I'm going to continue on to give you an A. I'm not going to give you an A+ till we finish the regular season. When we finish the regular season, then we'll talk about it. But cold weather coming, I don't know. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed. Say something big to the big man upstairs and see if we can get this thing in. 483-8112 is the number. We're going to talk high school football first. We'll talk Tennessee a little bit later on. I want to wait and talk that with Cox tonight. I can't wait to see what he's got to say about last week's debacle, because it was a debacle. But we'll talk about that later on. Let's don't talk about it now. Like I said, we got some Clinton's off tonight. It was on their normal bye tonight. I don't know if Clinton's got Campbell County next week or Carnes next week. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. It's their 2 last remaining games. So, and I don't know if Clinton practiced this weekend or not. I hadn't seen Coach Keith in a week or two to even talk to him. So it'll be interesting to see if Clinton can rebound maybe and win a couple ball games at the end to build on for next year. Won't be long. It'll be basketball time around here. Hoops will be firing up. Sure Brad Jones will be excited about that as always, because he's a big Coalfield guy and a big assistant down there, and I'm sure basketball might already be started as practice goes, but I'm sure he's cranked and ready for it. Like I said, 483-8112. If you want to give us a call, if anybody's at the Oak Ridge game tonight, I'm sure there'll be one fan call from Oak Ridge. That guy that walked in here last week, we felt sorry for him. Let him sit up here. He didn't make a lot of sense when he was talking, but that's okay. Sometimes I don't make a lot of sense neither. So he fit right in. So it's probably him. He's probably heard me. I think he's got a 24-hour monitor on me or something. So I don't really know, but let's see who it is. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air. Well, ever who it was hung up. Maybe they're calling back in on the other line. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You couldn't live without me.
Hello?
Yeah, you couldn't live without me, could you?
Yeah, I can live without you.
Say what?
Yes, I can live without you.
I bet you can.
Did you go to game tonight? Did you go to game tonight?
I go to every game. I went tonight in the cold.
Well, tell us a little bit about it.
It's a good game. Mount Juliet came in ready to win the game. We score, or they had first possession. They fumbled. We took it back for a score. Then we intercepted them next possession when they threw a Hail Mary downfield. Took it all the way to the 20-yard line, got called for a penalty, brought us all the way back, probably midfield. Then our running back fumbled it, gave him the ball back to our own 30. And I think halftime it was a one-score game. The highlight of the game was the very last play when our running back hurdled over the defender. Very last play of the game. So it was a good game. Mount Juliet came to play. But we were fortunate enough to come out with the win.
Well, I was listening to the game as I was coming down, but when I got here right in front of the studio, I was sitting outside listening to it, and then David Clary and them disappeared off the face of the earth. It went dead. So I don't know what happened.
I can't speak for what happened since I didn't hear about it, but maybe they just decided not to. They pinpointed your vehicle and decided to cut you off the air.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it a bit. So really why you weren't able to hear about it is because you were not at the game, probably.
I have a message for you from someone.
You do what?
I have a message for you from someone that you know. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Gary wanted me to tell you that he was very proud of me for beating you in the debate last week when I came by. He was very proud of me.
Gary ain't tall enough to even talk to me. You can give him that. You can give him that message back. He's too short to even. Remember the fact, he's so little you don't even see him. And you can tell him I said that too.
And I had someone else. I'm not going to say his name because he wants to remain anonymous. I'll respect that. But he wanted to let me know to keep giving you hell. So that's what I'm going to plan on doing.
I guess. I mean,
well,
it's whatever flips you switch.
Hey, I just got to keep you straight. That's all I got to do.
That's hard to do. A lot of people have been trying to do that for a lot of years, and they've not been able to do that. So
but
enjoy the time you're going to try to do it, because you're going to waste a lot of your life trying to keep me straight. I can tell you up front, it's probably not going to happen. So tell little man Gary that I said that too, okay? Hey, listen, is he still, Gary might be as old as I am, I'm not for sure. But he's still the water boy for Oak Ridge, isn't he?
Oh, well, if we're going to compare what he does compared to you keeping stats at Clinton, I think they're about the same.
I don't keep stats at Clinton, so I never have.
Okay, fine.
But anyway, Gary is still the water boy, right?
No, he was doing some pretty important stuff.
Yeah, he carries the water. He's still a little water boy.
Hey, listen, you keep stats for Clint and bring out.
You
the
know
towels.
what? Gary could probably dress out for the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys Club football team, probably as little as he is. You tell him I said that. Call him and tell him, because as soon as you do, he's going to text me and go on with all this, and I know what he's going to do. I've known him for a long time. No, Gary's a good guy. I don't know what he does for the. He's helped. I think he hauls all the stuff for him, and another guy haul all the stuff for Oak Ridge, I think, don't they?
I believe so.
He's been doing. I know he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah. Where was Cox tonight? Where's your boy?
He'll be here in just a minute. He had to do a game. He was PA announcer tonight at Fulton, so he'll be here in a little bit.
Keeping stats for Fulton?
I'm sorry?
Keeping stats for Fulton?
No, he did the PA tonight. He does the PA at home games. So, tell Gary I was asking about him, okay? 'Cause he's a good guy.
I will. I'll see him.
All right, see you, man. Hey, let's jump out and take our first break of the night. When we come back, 483-8112, and I'm sure there's a score that we've missed or the one of interest or something. We've got a guy that calls in about every Friday night and keeps us straight. I look forward to that call too. So we'll see if we missed any scores or got anything wrong. He'll call us here in a little while. We'll be back just in a couple minutes.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Renai, hot water for all.
Breaker, breaker, good buddy. We've just rolled in from Georgia with a truckload of throw rugs.
That was back in my truck driving days, many years ago. Rugs are still rolling in from Georgia every month, featuring Oriental and contemporary area rugs, carpet-style throw rugs, and much more. All rugs are sold at the lowest prices possible. Find your rug at Hammer Stores.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
And welcome back to the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard. 483-8112. That's the hotline in here. Give us a call and we'll talk to you about the game you were at tonight. Anderson County wins another game tonight. It was a blowout, Chattanooga Central. Oak Ridge wins a close one, apparently, 27-21. Maryville rose tonight. Alcoa rose tonight. Midway rose tonight, I believe, if I'm looking at that score right. Midway wins tonight over Sunbright. Said Clinton was off tonight. Rockwood rose big. Man, Rockwood's been putting some points on the board. Meigs County does beat Oneida tonight. Loudon wins tonight. A lot of these teams are going to be playoff teams that are going to be going on down the road. Farragut wins tonight. Elizabethton crushes Greenville. Cloudland wins tonight. I thought I seen DB up here a while ago. Said Campbell County loses to Fulton. Carnes wins. Bradley Central Bradley Central beats William Blunt. DB wins over Morristown West. That's setting up another game in a couple weeks with Alcoa. That'll be a big game. Happy Valley wins. Hardin Valley. It looks like Hardin Valley might have got a win tonight over Jefferson County. I don't think Jefferson County's winning. Man, that's a program that's a rich high school tradition program back in the days. That's really fallen. And, you know, Claiborne County, another team. I think Claiborne County's ranked in their classification. Another win for Claiborne County. Might make them 7-1, I believe. I've not seen Union County. They might still be out. Not 100% sure. You know, COVID has took so many of these people out this year. It's not even funny. But we're in week 9 with 2 weeks to go in the regular. 2 weeks to go in the regular season, and we're hanging on, and just keep doing a good job we're doing. And let's see if we can't make it through this thing. And really, you know, about 7 more weeks really will take us through state championship games for all classifications. So that will be that's the big test as the colder weather comes on. I think we go into right at the 1st of December. So we'll see how it all plays out as far as the COVID virus goes with high school football. But it is affecting teams in the area. It has affected teams in the area this year. There's been times, I think, when teams have been short players. You know, Kingston has been. We talked to their coach 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he explained the situation there at one point. You know, so it's really been tough on football coaches, or high school football coaches anyway. You know, just look what you're seeing in college right now. Florida LSU cancel tomorrow. Nick Saban at Alabama, probably the best college football coach in the country. He doesn't know if he'll get to coach tomorrow. So, you know, we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we talk Tennessee football. It's funny there with Florida coach wanting 90,000 people because Texas A&M had a few thousand people, and he thought the crowd beat Florida. I don't think the crowd beat them. I think just Texas A&M probably beat Florida. So that's how I look at that. But a big game next week. A couple of them that I could just right now think off the top of my head. One will be Powell and Oak Ridge, and the other will be Coalfield and Oliver Springs. Coalfield and Oliver Springs, I think 5 miles or less maybe from each other. I mean, it don't take long to get there. Either if you're coming from Coalfield or if you're coming from Oliver Springs, it does not take long to get there. So that'll be a knockdown drag outer next week, and then Oak Ridge and Powell. You know, if Oak Ridge can win that game, that might could vault them up to second place possibly. Because I think West has done beat Oak Ridge and West has done beat Powell, so Oak Ridge has something on the line next week. If I'm right, it's next week. And then when they play Fulton, there's something on the line too, because Fulton's trying to get the 3rd spot, if that's where Oak Ridge is sitting, or wind up selling for 4th. So I think tonight that West, Powell, Oak Ridge, and Fulton are probably locked in the playoffs. Campbell County they might still have a chance, but it's slim. Clinton and Carnes are mathematically they're out of the picture. So it'll be interesting to see how these next couple weeks play out, both for Oak Ridge and for Fulton and for Powell, and then for Oliver Springs and Cofield. But if anybody I think Cofield was off tonight. It was just a regular bye night for them. But if anybody was at one of those games tonight, if anybody was at Oliver Springs and with the third game or Rockwood, I know there's a Rockwood Tour caller that listens. If you were, call us if you went to the game, or and let us know how that game played out tonight. It will be interesting, and I'm sure when Cox gets here, he'll tell us the deal with Fulton and Campbell County, so we'll know what's happened there. But weather has sure changed for football, that's for sure. It is football weather. It's going to be football weather for Tennessee tomorrow. Even with a noon kickoff, they said it'll be quite chilly towards the end of the game. So, that cold weather and football go together. It'll be some interesting next couple weeks. Be some good football weather. Suggest you get out and go catch a high school football game. Like I said, just a couple weeks left in the regular season, and then we'll jump into the playoffs, and that's when everybody starts back over zip, and you play a good on a Friday night, and somebody has a few bad breaks here and there, could upset. Somewhere every year it happens just about, so it'll be interesting to see how the next several weeks play out. What'll be interesting to see, Anderson County's got one more game left. They got a couple games left. They got one more game left against a team that's ranked higher than them in their region, and I'm just not for sure who it is. I don't know if that game's at Oak Ridge or if it's Chattanooga. That's where most of the teams that Anderson County plays from, Chattanooga. I'm not for sure who it is. So we'll see. There's one more. I'll call it a test right now for AC to see if they can get through that game. We'll call it a test. I don't know whether it actually is a test or not, but we'll call it a test right now anyway to see if Anderson County can get through that game, and I'm sure they could. Somebody's dinged me here, so somebody's probably telling me. East Hamilton, and it's at AC. All right. Thanks, Richie. Appreciate it. So Anderson County's got East Hamilton. I'm not, if they've been on our scoreboard ticker tonight, I have not seen them. I don't even know if they played tonight, so that's the next thing. They could have been up there. I think they were 6-1 maybe going in tonight. Maybe they're ranked 6th, something like that in the playoffs. I mean, in the state polls, Anderson County's like 7th or 8th. I'm not for sure. It's one of those, but anyway, that's a big game coming up for AC. It's really the only competition they've had in the last couple of years. He tells me they lost to another Chattanooga team. I don't know who they lost to. So, I mean, I think AC just about has beat everybody down there with a couple games left. I don't know who they've not played yet, neither. So, but anyway, that game, I don't know that it'll be that big of a game, but it does have some interest just because one loss, and that could turn out to be a. Well, I think the winner of that game will win the region. If AC wins it, they'll repeat. I don't think AC's lost a region game in the last 2 years. So not only that, if they get beat, that would be a victory in itself, and then to win the region championship on top of that would even be bigger. So we'll see. But traditionally coming down the pike, there's usually some big games, some big region games. Like I said, with Oak Ridge, got Powell and Fulton left. Cofield's got Oliver Springs there lurking in the in the near future here coming up in about 7 days. So it'll be interesting to see how those games all play out next Friday night. BBB TV 12 will be there. It's a great place to go watch a high school football game, but it's a better place to go do a football game because you got to stand outdoors to do it. It is outdoors. Cofield's press box is not much bigger than the table that I'm sitting at. But they've got a big, long patio like outside, and that's where you'll do the game. And it's a great view, and you're right out there. I mean, you're right out there, and it's just a really good place to do a high school football game. A lot of tradition down in Cofield. Coach Henry down there, been there for a while. Coach Gary Chris was there for a long time. Now deceased, but a great, a legend down there at Cofield High School, and Coach Henry has come behind him and done a fabulous job down at Cofield. I mean, it's, we talk about coaching staffs all the time around here, how it is to keep your same coaches year after year after year after year. Well, that probably has happened at Cofield for a long time. There's not been much turnover at Cofield. I don't know if there's been any in recent history, but under Coach Henry anyway. But it's just a neat place to go to watch a football game. If you want to go to a spectacle and a show, you go to Anderson County. Okay? There's two places, in my opinion, that are down in classification. If you want to go to a football game, you go to Greenback and you go to Cofield. And it's two good places to go watch football. The fans are right on top of it. Sort of like Coach Gaddis said he likes to play at Clinton just because the fans are so close, and everybody gets into the game so much it brings excitement. And in Clinton it is, the fans are on top of you on the playing field. But if you don't go see a show, go up there, see this, give you a little fireworks, a little smoke, and used to have one heck of a PA in now. I think they've went down a little bit now. Somebody said tonight it was Richie Noe all the time now. So that guy they used to have was a real deal too up there. But I think he finally gave it up, retired maybe, and so Mr. Noe's doing it now. Mr. Noe wears different hats up there. I heard him on the radio once or twice. Once for sure I know of. I think he's supposed to be on there again, and I just forgot about it. I listened to him, and I had to just ask him to call in because I had to ask him some questions about some of the names he had for some of the players on the football field, so we could get some explanations because I've laughed. It was pretty funny. So he does his own thing on the football. Let me put it this way: you don't have no doubt who he's for. It's an Anderson County broadcast, and you know it. It's an Anderson County broadcast. Yeah, he cuts no punches on that. So, a lot of teams in the area are going to make the playoffs. Looks like AC for sure, Oak Ridge for sure, Oliver Springs, I think more than likely, Cofield for sure. I would think Rockwood and Kingston do. I'm not for sure about Midway. That is something we need to check. We'll check on here in the next week or two to make sure about Midway. It'll be interesting to see if Midway makes that into the playoffs. That's a team over the last 3 or 4 years has got better and better and better every year. So it'll be interesting to see if Midway can make the playoffs. Like I said, they've had a really exceptional, really good football team this year. So it will be interesting to see that, that if Midway makes the playoff. I'm not even seeing the standings of the region standings like to where Midway is in their region. So, but the typical Maryville and Alcoa is going to make it. I don't think Austin East. I think Austin East is out of the playoff picture this year. I don't think AE has won a game. So Be the first time in a while that AE has not been, and I think they've been closed down the last couple of weeks because of COVID too. But it'll be interesting to see if Midway gets an opportunity to get in the playoffs and see what they do. But just think about that. The only two teams that in our area that we cover would be Harriman and Clinton. And all the other teams possibly are in if Midway's in. All the other teams would be in. That speaks volumes for itself right there. What kind of football we've got around here. We've got some really good high school football teams. We've got some really good high school football coaches in the area. So that speaks a lot for the teams and the coaches around here. But our number here is 483-8112. Give us a call, and we would be more than glad to talk a little high school football with you tonight. Like I said, a little later on, we'll talk some college football with you, and we'll get it all worked out, and we'll get it out there. I'm sure there'll be a couple of Tennessee fans want to call in and give us their 2 cents on what they think, and probably tell us that Mays is worth 14 points. Well, he wasn't worth 14 points last week, so we'll see. Let's jump out and take another commercial break, and we'll be right back just in a couple minutes.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Renai, hot water for all.
Breaker, breaker, good buddy. We've just rolled in from Georgia with a truckload of throw rugs.
That was back in my truck driving days, many years ago. Rugs are still rolling in from Georgia every month, featuring Oriental and contemporary area rugs, carpet-style throw rugs, and much more. All rugs are sold at the lowest prices possible. Find your rug at Hammer Stores.
I am a simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a simplicity dealer.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
$1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, You'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Welcome back to the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard. Cox has finally made it in here. You're right. Here we go. Hey, let me ask you a question. I posed this question last week, and you wasn't here. You know, I got asked this in Food City last week. After, I don't remember when it was, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and I don't know the gentleman asked me. He had a mask on. I really didn't know him. If he'd had the mask off, I probably wouldn't have known him. But anyway, he asked me this question, and I'll ask you this question. I asked this question last week, and which I answered it myself a little bit. Could AC compete in the West Powell, Clinton, Oak Ridge, Campbell County, Karnes region? I said yes, they could compete. Could they win the region? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they play Powell really close. They beat Clinton. They don't play Oak Ridge or they don't play Campbell County. So to say they could win it, I don't know if they could win it, but they could compete in that region. And that would be you talk about a heck of a region. That'd be a heck of a region.
I think the answer is yes, they can compete. However, they're 0-2 against the two 5A teams they've played. Now, outside of that, I'm not sure they've played a 6A team who hadn't won a football game this year.
Jefferson County.
Jefferson County.
Yeah, they got beat tonight by Hardin Valley.
Yeah.
But now, another thing, this is not necessary for you, and you might know what happened. I don't. I got jumped in the grocery store on.
Stop going to the grocery store.
You're right. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store on Saturday, and everybody wanted to know why I didn't talk about an incident that took place in Anderson County on Thursday night. It was between North Middle School and Clinton Middle School. Apparently, the PA announcer. Richie, I know you're watching because you done text me and give me an answer to a question, and you might want to call and talk about it, and you might not. And if you don't, that's fine. But they said the PA announcer just went off on the Clinton kids. I don't know if that's true or not. Well, yeah, it's true from what I've been told, because the person that told me, I believe her, and she's a mom, so. Or grandmother, rather.
What do you mean they went off? Like over the mic?
Yeah, over the mic. That's what I was told. Said it was pretty bad. So I don't know if it's pretty bad or not. It's bad enough that a friend of mine's wife, which is a grandmother, went to the press box. I understand several parents went to the press box over the person. I don't know who the person was. I don't have any idea, but man, there don't need to be none of that going on. If that actually went on, and from what I'm told, it did actually happen up there not this past Thursday, but a week ago for the Clinton North game. Let the kids play the football games, and if you're a PA announcer, which you do that some, just call the game and leave it at that. So
I'm not a very good PA announcer, but it's a real easy job.
Apparently for this guy, he's doing it like he's on radio or TV. So I don't know. I don't have any idea. I went there, like I said, I got asked why I didn't talk about it Friday night, and I said, well, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's real easy to talk about something if you know about it, but if you don't know anything about it, you cannot talk about it. And I know Richie knows a pretty class guy. In my opinion, he is anyway, so I can't believe that he had any, I don't think he had anything to do with it, or if he did, I'd be disappointed in him.
A PA guy is only as good as his spotter, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I think he was a solo man, didn't have no spotters doing it on his own.
You know, because it's real easy. Who throws the ball, who catches the ball, who tackles, who runs it, who tackles, it's first down, end of the quarter type stuff. It's not
rocket science.
It's not rocket science.
You got to have some help.
Now, if you're as talented as the guy at Austin East in the basketball, and you want to talk about Barbara's hair and Uncle Jesse's clothes and Cousin's new shirt,
I understand.
Now he's talented.
He's talented. Yeah. He is talented.
Yeah.
But that was a question I was asked. Not the last part of one I don't know anything about, so it doesn't have anything really to do with the show. I guess somebody thought I should have made a comment. I made a comment this Friday night on it, so I ought to be in the clear on that. Just don't get no mix-ups there. But the question, like I said, I was asked, I said, yeah, they can compete. They were a play or two away, maybe, depends on how that game goes against Powell, that they possibly could have won or forced into overtime. They didn't. They lost it. West is probably a little bit better football team than even what I thought they were. I tell you, a team that I think's 5A run is over with, and I think that's Central after last night. I believe Central's 5A run will be over with here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It'll be somebody else.
I've been to more high school football games this year in the fact that, you know, sort of branched out and go watch Central Halls on a Thursday night. You know, watch Powell Anderson County and watch some of these schools. And I can say since 2005, when I got back from college, I've watched a lot of high school football. I can't remember it as a whole, being any worse than it is this year.
Think it's got anything to do with the COVID? I mean, what's going on in the country, just the COVID? I mean, in general? I mean,
I don't know if it's COVID or if it's a drop. And here's what's funny. We've got, when I say we, 5-star Preps coverage area has some big-time recruits in it right now. But as a whole, it's not very impressive. I mean, that game last night, that Hall Central game, and I'm not knocking the kids, I'm not knocking the coaches, but it just wasn't overly good football.
I made this comment when I came on the air tonight. I made my usual speech about doing the COVID stuff. You know, I've done it every week because I just want to see high school football go from start to end.
And it should.
And it should. Hopefully it'll make it. But I made the comment I couldn't watch the Catholic Baylor game last night. That was just, it was, you know, and the Howard kid from Baylor, he might be the real deal. I know he carried it 37 or 36 times for 240 some yards last night.
Yeah.
But I didn't walk away with, I mean, what little I watched of it, I didn't walk away with saying, that's the guy that can go to the University of Tennessee and change the program.
You know whose brother that is?
I have no idea.
You remember Sierra Howard, who played basketball at Fulton?
Yes.
That's her brother.
Oh, okay. I know who that is then. I wasn't overly, I mean, I know he's only,
I didn't get to see the game.
He's only going out as a 3-star. That's what they say. I don't think if you can play football, you can play football, but, and maybe as he gets better and stronger, that he'll become that guy. But Catholic didn't look like a Catholic team of the past. I think Catholic is down a little bit this year.
They're playing big boy football.
You see, when you play big boy football, you learn how good you are really quick.
If they'd have had
you come out every Friday night and got to play like that. I mean,
it's every Friday. They're going to miss the playoffs, right?
Got to win the last 2 games, I think. They said last night in order to, if I understood them right. And I just watched bits and pieces of it, and more towards the end probably than on the front side. That's why I know stats and stuff. But I think they said they got to win the last 2.
Okay. So they can't lose any of their large division games. Well, and to sort of, you know, to say a little bit about that, they were ready for that when they had Mays and Rogers. I'm not sure they're ready for that right now. You know, for that level of football. Those teams they rolled out there that didn't win state titles 2, 3, 4 years ago, those were big-time football teams.
Yeah.
I mean, they were big-time football teams.
I'm going to say this, and somebody can say, well, you don't even know football talent. That's okay. You can say it if you want to. I think the Martin kid that's playing quarterback for Catholic, if he's as good in baseball as he is, I think I'd concentrate on baseball.
That's funny. That was something I was told. That it's probably, and I think it's almost, he concentrates so much on baseball and does so much baseball, there might be some underlying problems with that.
Yeah, I think he's.
That's what he probably should do.
I think he should. If he's as good in baseball as they say he is, he's not bad in football. I think he just needs to stick to football. I mean,
if you're a draft pick in
baseball, excuse me.
Yeah, and the good news is last time I heard the Braves were up 2-0. They were up 3-0. They got replayed on a sac fly and it went back to 2-0. So, caller, maybe give us an update. I had a great conversation with Justin Price tonight before the game. I got over there a little early and got to talk to him a little bit. And the funny thing that he brought up that I noticed when I watched the Maryville-Fulton game, and he watched the Maryville-Fulton game on film, was how in the world is Maryville going to pull off one of those runs that they pull off this year? You know, you watch them play like he watched them play on film, and you just watch those games, and they're absolutely probably the least flashy Maryville team I've ever watched. I mean, it's as vanilla just as it gets. But they are, tonight they go to Ooltewah and just roll.
That's Maryville, man.
That's Maryville. But, it's one of those things. You sit there and you watch them in person against a below-average Fulton team, and they don't impress you.
Here's what I think about that, okay? I don't think they got to be flashy. I think Maryville's got you beat in your mind when they get off the bus or when you walk onto their turf.
The last 2 or 3 years, yes.
And you see all the stuff they've got hanging over. I can remember back in the day when Oak Ridge dressed 100 and something out, and they walked down them steps, and it seemed like they come down for 45 minutes. When actually it wasn't 45 minutes, but it seemed like forever, and they're dressing 100 and 103 out. And now they're dressing 60 something or whatever they dress out. It's completely, it's not as intimidating to go to Oak Ridge anymore for some teams as it was in the past when you're standing over there maybe with 48 or 50 kids, and they're dressing out 50 more kids than you are.
Same way Fulton used to be. They rolled 90 kids down those bleachers playing that music.
Yeah.
Tonight they rode 31.
So that's what I'm saying. So Fulton's not as intimidating anymore. There's a lot of teams that like to have Fulton on their schedule right now.
There's a lot of teams that will play 4A football next year that did not play 4A the last 2 years because they were running from Fulton.
Question being this: the number of games out. Clinton and Anderson County are really close in numbers, like 14 kids.
And
wonder where that's going to wind up.
Their geography has nothing to do with who will be 4 and who will be 5A. Anderson County and Clinton's geography has nothing to do. And I know there's a lot of Anderson County and Clinton people that watch this show, but if you hear anything all night that you've been wondering and asking questions about, because we at 5 Stars got a lot of questions about this. Clinton and Anderson County being 5 miles apart, it will have nothing to do with where the line is drawn in the numbers from Anderson County being 4A and Clinton being 5A.
Yeah, but where is it going to drop off? Is it going to drop below? Is it going to be they're going to split it in the middle somewhere of Clinton and Anderson County?
It's a great question.
That's a good question. That's a question. I mean, it's like Oliver Springs. Oliver Springs is down almost 300 and some kids. They're down to 280 some kids.
Then they'll be where their number is.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to be down. They're going to be down there.
Is that 1A football?
That's 1A football probably. I mean, you don't know where the classification. And then you look at Oak Ridge, and Oak Ridge is on the upper end of that. I think they're either 13 something or 14 something. They're up there too. So it's some big numbers either way you go. So I won't be shocked if Clinton and Anderson County both are in 4A next year.
No.
You don't think so?
I think they'll both be in 5A.
You think they'll both be in 5A? Well, what a region, pal. That guy might get his wish. Might get his wish.
I think Anderson County, the true Anderson County fan, I think they want to be in 5A.
You think they won't be in 5A?
I think they'd have a lot more fun with the good quality teams they've had playing 5A football than they would doing what they're doing right now. They'd make it to the second or third round of the playoffs playing a 5A schedule. They made it to the second round the last 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, and I'm agreeing.
So think
with you
about
at the
the
same
money.
time.
Think about the money they spend. Think about the lack of money they bring in from their gates, even if it was a COVID or non-COVID year, from their region games. I think the Anderson County fan knows good football when they see it, and I think they would appreciate and enjoy the 5A 7-3 versus the 4A 9-1 or 10-0.
So that's going to put them back against some teams that a lot of people want to see them play anyway. That's going to probably put, I don't know, Oak Ridge might wind up in 6A.
I think Oak Ridge probably stays as a big 5A, maybe the small 6A, but I think they'll stay in there at 5A. And if you look at that, it's really interesting to see how Tibble will do this. Once you get your number, does Oak Ridge go over with the West Knoxville teams like they could have this last time, or do they keep them with Campbell County, Clinton, Anderson County, Central, Powell?
Boy, you talk about some close. I mean, there wouldn't be much travel around those games.
Your region,
some gates.
Your region could honestly be starting Campbell County, come down. You got Anderson County, Clinton, Oak Ridge. Come on down the interstate, Powell, Central.
That'd be some.
Because if that happens, they're saying, I've heard that you could also take Oak Ridge out of that, and Oak Ridge could go to that Oak Ridge West, Southall, and go that way.
I'd be loaded with Southall too.
I think the bigger, see, because what happens is you're going to lose Gibbs and you're going to lose Carter for sure.
So they're going to drop back.
They're going back to 4A.
They're going back to 4A.
Seymour back to 4A. Fulton back to 4A. So do you make a larger 8 or 9, 8-team region, or do you do a 5 and a 4 or a 5 and a 5? And then when you do that, how do you split it?
Yeah.
There could literally be.
And they do that by, and
geography.
When geography, they do that. What's the shortest route from here to there? It doesn't really matter where you're at. So.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say before you said that is if Oak Ridge stayed in there and Campbell County stayed in there, that's two teams that a lot of Anderson County fans wonder why it's not on the schedule, Oak Ridge and Campbell County. So that would put those two teams back on AC schedule, and AC would be playing those two teams. And I would think there'd be huge gates for both of them at both places when they come down here or go up there or wherever it's played at. There would be some huge gates. So that'd just be interesting right there.
It would. It would.
I mean, that would really be interesting. I mean, when the numbers came out this week and I seen how close they were, I thought, holy cow, we're pretty close. Really close.
Yeah.
So,
and and here's what would be crazy. It could be that Anderson County is one of the biggest 4A schools in the state, and it could end up being where Clinton is one of the smallest 5As. If you just run the numbers and look at the numbers,
right,
it could end up that way. It's going to be within a team. It's going to be within 2 to 3 teams either way for both these schools. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Yeah. And then the other thing is,
when will that happen? Classifications.
Well,
will that not be after the season? I mean, to after the playoffs, or will that be before the playoffs is over with?
I think that is in January.
January.
I think we might get a caller to call in tonight and talk about that. The veteran's out of town. He might have some free time.
He might have some free time. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's in January. I might be wrong. But I think it's January. Then we got a phone call this week from a guy in Oneida. Oneida's probably going to play the same division in football as they have been in, but they're going to go from single A to double A in basketball, it looks like, and their closest district game might be 40 minutes. By the way it works, they're going to lose Sunbright, Oakdale, and all those schools they play. And Scott County will be 3A because of their size, and literally their closest district game in 2A basketball could be 40 minutes. That's why you didn't need 4 classifications in basketball and baseball.
Now, when's that new classification in basketball take? This
Next year.
Next year, not this year.
Next year. Yeah.
Well, I don't, you know, I don't, why did, and I know Jody could call us and tell us, but why did we wind up with 4 teams in why did we wind up with 4 classifications?
It's what the majority of the people wanted. Yeah.
Wow.
The answer to the question, to the text I got, is Alcoa will not go to 4A in football. Alcoa will not go to 4A in football. Yep.
Stay where they're at?
Yeah.
Dominate? Why would you if you stay where you're at and dominate?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean,
so
I think they can win in 4A as well as they can win in. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that they couldn't win in 5A.
And the whole thing with them saying they were going to go 4A a couple years ago, and then people saying they jumped ship because of that, that's not correct. Yeah. It's not correct. Those teams were dodging one team, and they were off Broadway. And then they didn't have an option. They had to go 5. So, yeah. But so I think that answers that question. Unless something changes. I think they're right where they want to be. I think if they do anything, like if they really wanted to do something, I think they probably bypass 4 and go to 5. If you're Alcoa and you really want to do something, you probably go play 5A or 6A football. And I don't think they'd ever go to 6A.
No, I can see them going. Like I said, I think they could win at 4 or 5, either one. Now, would they win a state championship after state championship? I don't know about that, but I think they could compete at 4. I think they really could compete at 4 right today.
Well, they'd win 4 today.
They probably would win.
They'd win 5 today.
And I'd like to see them in West play.
They'd win 5 today.
Well, I'd still like to see them play. I mean, it's like you said, Maryville wasn't too flashy, but Maryville did go beat Alcoa this year. I mean, I just think it's partly, I think it's just.
Hardin Valley gets a win in Jefferson County. You said that, but I didn't believe you.
Yeah, Hardin Valley gets a win. Yeah.
What if that was a mixed extra point?
It might be.
Tonight, the difference in the Fulton game until the 96-yard touchdown that was meaningless was an extra point. Yeah.
Like I said, and that's something I'm sitting there tonight. I'm watching Brad and them, and they're talking about the kicker. And I think he's been offered by Ole Miss, the kid from Anderson County, and
what?
I think that's what they said.
Bethel?
Yeah, I think he's been offered by Ole Miss.
Huh.
I thought that's
scholarship?
What they said. I thought so. I thought that's what they said. I might be wrong on that, but that's what I thought.
Do kickers get offered scholarships these days?
I guess. I thought that's what they said.
I mean, usually, you try to get one to come for free.
I don't know if he does. I don't know if he's got an offer or not. I thought that's what they said, though. Or maybe there's interest from Ole Miss in him.
And I think statistically he struggled this year, right?
A little bit. He has. I'm just wondering why a lot of high school coaches don't put. I know Oak Ridge puts time in special teams. Oak Ridge always has a good kicker and a good punter. Always. I just wonder why more high school teams don't put more effort into that when
Campbell County scored 14 points tonight off special teams, but missed an extra point. Yeah.
Punt returns, kickoff returns?
Bad snaps on punts. Started at the 4 and started at the 12. I'll tell you a big game in our area next week, and it's on the private side, is Grace and CAK. That's a big time football game.
CAK still undefeated, or have they lost?
Yeah.
Grace is lost.
Grace lost. They're undefeated. CAK's undefeated. That's a big game. Ray County, Saudi Daisy. It looks like Ray County's going to be the 1 seed for all the 5A people that are around here. So I think the winner of Oak Ridge and Fulton October 30th. I think the winner of that game has a chance to go win a playoff game on the road.
Now, a question being is this: Did Campbell County get eliminated?
Yes, Campbell County is eliminated from the playoffs, and Carnes is eliminated from the playoffs.
All right.
Terry said that he was offered by Ole Miss.
He was offered by Ole Miss.
And he's talking with.
A scholarship or a spot on the team?
He was offered.
To me, that's a scholarship. And he's talking to who?
Alabama.
Alabama.
That's cool. It's good to see kids in this area get big-time offers.
It is.
Yeah. That's a...
I don't know how long Lane Kiffin will be at Ole Miss, because I think if he goes there and has any success, he'll be on the move to another school shortly.
Where do you think he'll head? Where would be 3 places you think he'd leave Ole Miss for?
I think he'd leave Ole Miss for South Carolina. I think he'd leave Ole Miss for Auburn. Might have to give me a minute or two to think.
See, I think there's only 2 jobs in the SEC he would leave.
He's not going to get hired at Alabama. You don't have to worry about saving leads. They're not going to hire him.
No, I don't think he'd go to Alabama.
That'll either be if the Alabama job come open tomorrow, that would probably be Kirby Smart or Sweeney.
He's too smart. He's too smart to go to Alabama. I think there's 2 schools in the SEC who come to.
Who's?
Florida and Tennessee.
Well, he's not going to ever get to come back to Tennessee. You can forget that.
I didn't say who would have him.
But I think he would leave.
He would come back here.
I think he would leave as stepping stones. He would go to Auburn. If he went to Auburn, he could play big-time football.
He would come back here.
Okay. Quick caller, you on the air?
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
All right. I was going to tell y'all some trivia. There was a boy that played for Oak Ridge High School. He had 20 colleges wanting him at one time. You might remember the name. His name was Emmon Love. Georgia wanted him. Alabama wanted him. LSU wanted him. Kentucky wanted him. Oklahoma wanted him. Texas wanted him. Florida wanted him. North and South Carolina wanted him. And he chose to go to UT.
Was this a kicker?
What position did he play?
I don't know. I can't remember now. It's been back in the 70 or 71, but there was at least 20 to 25 colleges that's going to give him a scholarship. UT was one of them.
And he ended up going to UT.
And he ended up at UT.
Ended up at UT.
All right. Little history. I remember the name. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah, you could probably Google him and probably find out. And another thing, I was looking up Jack Armstrong's era at Oak Ridge High School from 1955 to 1968. He had 105 wins and 27 losses and 6 ties.
It's sad that you used to build tie football games.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they named that stadium after.
Probably so. You're probably right.
Did Oak Ridge, did I see where they won tonight on the road, or is that at home?
That's at home.
Maybe at home again. Okay. They ended up winning that football game. I know at one time they were behind, then they came back and took the lead.
No, they won.
27-21.
27-21.
I was told that the Love guy was a wide receiver.
Caller, I got a question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot. If Oak Ridge ends up in 6A come January or February, does Joe Gaddis retire?
If Oak Ridge don't have a winning season, Joe Gaddis is gone because Oak Ridge don't put up with it.
No, you didn't answer my question. If Oak Ridge ends up in 6A football next year, and they'll find out by January, February, does Coach Gaddis, the Hall of Fame coach, retire?
I'd say they give him 2 years. If he don't do good in 2 years, he's gone.
See, because I really feel like if he goes 6A, he's going to be one of the smallest schools in that. And I think that he can compete in that league with Bearden, Hardin Valley. He's better than those teams. He beats those teams. Yeah. But, you know, you've got the one-headed monster over in Blount County that you're going to be playing against.
All right, caller, thanks. We appreciate your call.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but I think what a lot of people don't understand about Oak Ridge right now, in the next couple of years, Oak Ridge is going to be pretty good.
But if they go 6A football, I think
they'll still be pretty good.
No, I think they'll win a lot of games.
Yeah.
Look at it. Farragut, they can beat them.
Yeah.
Hardin Valley.
Well, yeah, they play both of those
DB,
teams,
Sides Hill.
Play DB already.
Sides Hill.
Yeah.
Bearden.
Yeah.
Hardin Valley.
Yeah.
They can win those football games.
Good caller, you're on the air.
Hey guys, it's Jesse Smithey. How are you?
Doing good, Jesse. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. Pulling out of Fulton High School, where the Falcons pulled off an improbable victory over Campbell County. Didn't see that one coming. I picked Fulton to win that football game, but early on, it just did not look like Fulton's night, and they found a way to win it with some defense there in the second half.
You had a good parking spot, number one.
We got a good parking spot. There were some hospitable Falcons up there that took good care of us.
Yeah, I can say they must not know you too well. Hey, but let's keep going about that. And I thought about this when I was up there. This happens to basketball over Thanksgiving break and over your Christmas breaks and in snow. Do you see teams that are on fall break struggle a little bit coming out of the gates?
I think that's definitely a possibility. You're out of your normal routine, but this whole season has been an exercise in being out of your comfort zone and being out of your normal routine. So I feel like it shouldn't have affected them too much, but then again, you just don't know what kids are doing during their free time, and coaches only get up for so long when they do practice. So it could have been a factor, Jonathan. I'm not sure, but that I'm not going to call it a Hail Mary because it was only 30 yards, but that 30-yard touchdown pass by Tommy Sweat really changed the course of that game, and I think just kind of injected Fulton with a little bit of optimism. Just being over there on the sideline,
it was bad.
The team has been through the ringer the last season and a half, and so it just seems like whenever things start going wrong, they start kind of bickering and kind of getting down on themselves, and that was a positive thing that happened, and they took that and ran with it in the second half.
Yeah, you know, and the reason I bring up the fall break thing, you had kids that played tonight. If they were in school, they'd have been at practice. The lead rusher for Fulton didn't play tonight. How many yards did McCovery have tonight for the Falcons?
I haven't been able to tally it up tonight, but it's definitely over 100. I mean, his last run was 97 yards, but that's probably the most impressive game I've seen personally out of him.
Yeah.
He's a guy who transferred in from Upper East Tennessee and came into the program and had a little bit of a reputation, but it's just been kind of waiting for him to bust out and have a big game. And I thought tonight he had a really, really consistent game from start to finish for Fulton. Whenever they needed big runs or a touchdown run, Mac McCovery was there. But as I talked with Robbie Black, from the Fulton head coach, I mean, their numbers were pretty bad tonight in terms of overall participation over on the sideline. You had some COVID issues. You had some disciplinary issues that he mentioned, and some other players out as well for injury. So the fact that they were able to cobble together a win tonight, they've won 4 out of their last 5 games and in really good position to make the 5A playoff.
Jesse, I'm going to tell you, I bet over there on the sideline tonight, he did not have 25 kids that could play in that football game.
Yeah, I believe that. We saw them do their little pregame huddle over by the goalpost as they do traditionally, and it was kind of sad to watch. It looked like a 1A, 2A size football roster over there on the field tonight.
Hey, so take us through. We've not talked about Hardin Valley or the Farragut Bearden. Who won that football game?
Farragut won that comfortably in the second half. They ended up winning 45-17, put up about 500 yards of offense, ran for over 300 yards tonight. It was a close game at the half. I think 17-10. Farragut was winning, but they just really put the pedal down. Bearden had 3 turnovers there tonight against Farragut, and I think everybody expected Farragut to win that football game, but I think Bearden gained a little bit of respect there in the first half, and you're starting to see their young quarterback, Don Carlovato, come of age. But the Farragut team was pretty motivated after a lackluster performance against Dobbins Bennett a week ago, and so they're definitely going to be in the 6A playoffs, and somebody you'll have to take seriously. Their quarterback, Dawson Moore, for Farragut's had a really good season, even though it got off to a rough start. He's really kind of found his groove, and Farragut's just being Farragut right now, and they knock off Bearden for the second season in a row.
What other else in the area? I mean, Hardin Valley gets a win. Is that their first or second win?
That's their first win of the year. They beat Jefferson County, who came in winless, and Jefferson County got down 14-0 and rallied late. Just looked like they either missed a PAT or tried to go for two in the win and just didn't get it. And Hardin Valley gets their first win of the year. But really, I would say the marquee game of the night outside of Bearden Farragut was your Greenville-Elizabethton game, and that was a game for a half. And Greenville, playing with a sophomore quarterback, it lost its starter against Austin East to a season-ending knee injury, and they got a really young defense, and they've been able to piece it together lately and win 4 games in a row, and only trailed at the half 16-10 tonight to the defending state champions in 4A. But Elizabethton's quarterback Bryson Rollins just went nuts tonight. He had over 130 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. He threw for over 200 yards passing and a couple touchdowns, and so Elizabethton ended up pulling away, I think, winning that 44-10 or 41-10, and just winning that game comfortably.
Hey, Jesse, the Halls and Central game last night, did that pretty much spell that we'll have a new 5A state champ this coming up year?
It's definitely not looking good.
I was there.
Right now, and
I was there.
You look back to last year when they struggled down the stretch of the regular season and lost consecutive games to South Doyle and to Gibbs. They still had a lot of self-belief and a lot of pieces in place offensively to turn that thing around. But right now, there's this complete struggle offensively throwing the football. They just can't really achieve much, and that's where they're going to have to maybe try to make a change or make a move or find some kind of answer, because right now it's a position that's hurting their football team. And I hate to say that, but it's kind of the point of getting to the late in the season where they need region wins, and so I don't know if they're going to go with somebody different or not. I don't know, but they're going to have to find an answer soon, because they play South Doyle on Thursday night, and South Doyle smells blood in the water, and they want to knock off Central just like everybody else is starting to do. So, but Central still had chances to win that football game last night, even though they weren't playing that well, but threw some interceptions late and had some breakdowns in defensive coverage and allowed Nolan Faust, a sophomore wide receiver for Halls, to get loose for a couple big touchdowns. And so we've called it an upset because they're the 2-time defending state champions, but Halls is really starting to garner a lot of respect here lately in year 2 under Scott Cummings.
And then another big win tonight would be the Oak Ridge over Mount Juliet.
Wow, yeah.
That's a big win right there within itself. So, Oak Ridge has a big showdown. I believe it's next week against Powell.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. I believe it is next week, and it's 2 years in a row now. You guys may have already talked about that Oak Ridge has beat Mount Juliet, and last year going on the road and beating that team. That's a really good mid-state program. And for Oak Ridge to do it this year, though, when they're kind of topsy-turvy, struggling a little bit, into some inconsistencies on offense, and Kendall Jackson's been in and out of the lineup hurt. They come in tonight and force some turnovers late and secure that win. Mitchell Givens throws for over 200 yards and a touchdown, and we saw Kendall Jackson get in the mix tonight as well. I think it was a big night. I think I saw he had over 100 yards receiving, and Kendall Jackson ran for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. So you got to have a win like that maybe late in the season to kickstart you into gear and propel you on that playoff push, and it very well may be this win over Mount Juliet tonight that does it for Oak Ridge.
Hey, Jesse, I want to go back to you mentioned something earlier, and I want to ask you a question. Is the Bryson Rollins kid, did I read where he passed for 228 yards and rushed for 130?
Yeah, just a fantastic dual threat quarterback for Elizabethton, and just a junior too. Remember when they won a state championship a year ago, he was just a sophomore and really got a lot of experience during that undefeated run, and he's a guy that's going to be playing college football for somebody on a Saturday. Don't really know the extent of what that might be. I haven't really got a lot of eyes on him just yet, just to say, well, I think he could possibly play at that level. Not that I'm the deciding voice on that, but he's just a guy that Sean Witten relies on and speaks highly of, and Greenville did a good job of putting the clamps down on their top receiver, Parker Hughes, and Bryson Rollins Bryson Rollins made him pay with his legs tonight.
So is Bryson Rollins is he one of the better quarterback dual threat? I know the Maryville quarterback, the Jones kid can run and he's big and he's.
Yeah, as far as dual threat quarterbacks, you're probably not going to find many better than Bryson Rollins. I definitely think he'll be in the mix for a Mr. Football Award in Class 4A. Him and his wide receiver Parker Hughes will probably both get quite a bit of votes.
Gotcha. As things move on, is Austin East eliminated from the playoffs?
I don't see how they could possibly get in. They haven't won a game. They're not even competitive at this point. Pigeon Forge beat them 35-0 last night. I can't ever remember a year where Pigeon Forge beat an Austin East team 35-0.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a sad state of affairs over at Austin East. Kind of what their program looks like right now, and they've had issues with COVID, and I just wonder kind of where their heads are at now, especially going in the last couple of weeks of the playoffs. I can't see them putting up much of a fight. They haven't all season long.
Yeah. Now, did that win tonight? It put Fulton and Oak Ridge and West and Powell in the playoffs for that division. Is that correct? That's set.
I hadn't looked at the standings, but I know Fulton is in really good standings right now. I think they're 2-1 in the region, if I remember correctly.
3-1.
I don't think they're going to have to go into Week 11 needing a
like they did last year.
For Oak Ridge, like they did last year. Yeah.
I got you. And then is any other COVID-related situations that's really harming teams from the playoff? David said that he thought Catholic has to win their last two division games to make the playoffs. Yeah, Greenback got the win tonight though due to COVID, didn't they?
Due to COVID, they got a win tonight. Yeah, I think I heard him say last night that Catholic's got to win the 2 remaining games to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to have to win those games and maybe get a little bit of help from some others as well. We're just not used to seeing Catholic miss the playoffs, and I know around the area it's not going to hurt a lot of people's feelings if they don't make it. But for that program to have the talent that it has and to see it kind of struggle in Division II, it's been a little bit of a surprise this year. They've been competitive in all these games, but they just can't close the door on a victory. And so they got to play Father Ryan, who's probably playing some of the best football in the mid-state right now. Father Ryan actually beat Baylor, the team that Catholic lost to last night. And then you got Innsworth, who has a ton of athletes, guys going to Ohio State. So it's going to be a tall order for Catholic to win these next 2 games.
Absolutely. So as you're looking forward to next week, Grace, I know probably a big game against CAK. Run us through 3 or 4 games. And does Anderson County play the team that some people picked to beat them this year, this coming week?
I don't know when that is.
Yeah, I don't know if people picked to beat them, but when you look at, I went back to about a month ago and I looked at remaining games for Anderson County and will they get a decent test coming up, and I think that Week 10 game will be, is it with East Hamilton? Is that who they're playing?
Yeah, I think one of them is East Hamilton, and there's like a Sequoia. I just didn't know what games you're looking forward to next week and, some of the bigger matchups.
Yeah, CAK and Grace, and then McMinn County, Maryville are probably your big ones the next week. We've already mentioned Central and South Doyle playing on Thursday night, but that McMinn County game against Maryville, it's two matchups of undefeated teams, state-ranked teams. McMinn County's just kind of loaded with talent, and see if they can give Maryville their first region loss since the year 2000. That's just, every time I say that, it just sounds dumber and dumber and more unbelievable, but it's absolutely true. And this McMinn County team gets Maryville at home, so there shouldn't be any type of intimidation factor of going on the road. They're all a year older now. They played Maryville a year ago, went into that game undefeated, and just didn't show well that night. And I think they want to kind of make amends, and so that'll be a game that a lot of people will kind of have an eye on in 6A and then CAK and Grace, basically for a region championship next week.
And another big game next week, Jesse, will be Coalfield and Oliver Springs, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coalfield's playing. Coalfield really kind of, even though their record looks really good this year, nobody's really talking about them as much as they should. And I know Keith Henry probably liked that. He likes maybe going under the radar. But back when they had the McKinneys on the team and everybody was giving them a lot of respect, and They have the record, they have the rankings, but I just feel like nobody's talking about Coalfield enough, and could definitely be one of those teams that makes a sneaky run in the 1A playoffs.
We hope. We like Coalfield. We support Coalfield. Obviously, Brad is a big supporter. And, it's good to see Oak Ridge get a win tonight, a big win. Hopefully, they'll get rolling. That's a big game against Powell, and then they end the season with Fulton. So I would say Coach Gaddis is glad to have his guys back and playing good football. And, we're going to, obviously, next week, Jesse, we'll be talking playoffs, and at some point in time, we will, people talk about classifications. Do you know when the classifications come out? Is that after the state championship, or will that be before?
Well, they'll start dividing these teams up into classes and giving them an opportunity to move up. And I believe there's a board of control meeting in November to kind of solidify these regions and put these teams into regions. So it'll be coming up pretty soon, Jonathan. I would say probably within the next month we'll really start to get a clearer picture of what the 2021 through 2023 classification cycle will look like.
Yeah, good job. Hey, I got a couple phone calls tonight on the way from Fulton to hear about how good the show is, the 5-Star Live show. So good job with that, and thanks for always calling in.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Appreciate it as always. We'll talk next Friday.
Go get to bed early, buddy.
See you, bud. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey.
Hey.
I just wanted to call in and talk about how Kingston played tonight and how they moved the ball.
How they moved the ball was the score.
But they moved the ball really well. They just couldn't score, and the defense was all right, but it was pretty close.
Caller, they're probably playing against one of the best defenses in the entire state.
Did Kingston even score a point tonight?
Yeah. They did not. They played against Alcoa.
They played pretty good, though. I mean, it was close.
50-something to nothing?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Must be somebody that's a Kingston hater. Huh? Oh, okay.
So we want to go to a quick commercial break real quick. Nope. Okay, sorry. I thought we said he was calling in 10 minutes. But that's a brutal game. That game for that Braves are down. Okay. Oh, 3-run homer. Will Smith hits a 3-run homer at the top of the 6th. Dodgers. And
is that line 2, Coach Gaddis? No. I'll wait here just. Line 1 ain't flashing. Line 1? Yep. All right. Wait, caller, you on there? Hello? Coach.
Coach is sleepy.
Coach, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Hey, Coach, big win tonight.
Yeah, that was a big win. Good football team, and we seem to always play pretty well against them for whatever reason. I don't know.
Hey,
coaching. It's all coaching.
It's all coaching, yeah. Hey, Coach, I got to ask you a question, and this is just a David question, the Coach question. Why do you? I'm sure it's in your game plan somewhere. But why do you continue on to do the pooch kick that? And I've heard you talk about it on your show. Between the 35 and the 26, 27, something like that. Is there some strategy behind that?
It's not very complex, I can promise you that. The simple truth is we can't kick the ball in the end zone like a lot of teams can, and when you kick it deep, you're kicking it right to their stud returner, whoever you're playing. They put their best guy deep. We'd rather take our chances, kick it high, and hopefully make them fair catch it around the 25, 30-yard line and not ever give their stud returner a chance to return the ball.
There you go.
Like I said, I've heard you talk about it, and I just didn't know I knew there was some reason that you were doing it, so that answers that question. But it seems like tonight, running game, passing game, receiving game, everything pretty much clicked for Oak Ridge tonight.
Well, like I said, we seem to play good against them, and they're really a good defensive football team, but we've run the ball against them 2 years in a row. We threw the ball well tonight. Offensively, we were clicking a lot better than we have all year. Defensively, thank goodness, we continue to play really well. So that combination I thought we were in more control of the ball game than 27-21, but we ended up having to fight and claw to stay in the game.
Coach, do y'all have PAL this coming Friday?
Yes, we do.
And then you finish it out with Fulton. So,
right. So if you win these next two, you would be the 2 seed and get a first-round home game. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So obviously you're the coach and I'm not, but if you can, Anderson County, I think, and West has shown if you can run the football against PAL and keep them off the field. And Coach, I've heard you say in the locker room, and I've heard you say many times in the show, you run the football in high school football, it sure is going to help you.
Well, I think if you can do two things, and we did them both tonight, if you can run the football and you can keep the other team from running it effectively, you're going to win, and that held tonight for sure.
There you go. You're not showing your hand too much, Coach. You're a smart guy.
Hey, Coach, I know it's a big win tonight. We appreciate you calling in, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you next Friday night after another big win.
There'll be a lot of people pulling for the Wildcats next Friday.
Yeah, a lot of people pulling for you next Friday night.
Well,
good luck.
I hope so. Thanks. Appreciate
it. All right, good luck, Coach.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
That's Coach Gaddis. Oak Ridge Wildcats not giving much up in his hand there, Cox.
No.
You know, if you can run and pass the ball, most teams would win anyway. He wants to plant it close to the vest. I'm sure he's got a game plan. But, you know, you're right. Keep a good offense. You keep PAL off the field, and that's a good way to – I think that's the formula to beat them.
Yeah, I was actually it was at the Central Halls game. A guy was talking to me. He said if we played 7-on-7 football, PAL would be the best team in the state, 5A. But fortunately for everybody else, we play tackle football. And I think that.
Why did he think 7?
I agree. I agree with him. If you look at their wide receivers and their makeup of the team, I think they're probably better than West at a lot of skilled positions. But when you have to be able to stop the run consistently and run the football to slow down West's defense, blitzing their quarterback, then I think that sort of changes the game. I mean, I think West could have ran the football more than what they did if they'd wanted to.
If they'd wanted to. West is, when you look at West, there's not many high school football teams that can say they've got 3 good running backs. And West has. But I know one of West's running backs has been hurt. Is that Mattress?
Mattress.
He's sort of been banged up a little bit.
You know who his brother is?
No, I don't know who his brother is.
K-Watt Mattress. Played for Fulton.
Oh, he did?
Basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going to West. A lot of those kids seem to be. You said something about Fulton tonight had must be a lot of injuries and had some disciplinary. I assume some kids didn't come to practice this week during fall break.
I would assume, yeah.
Did they not get to play? They didn't play any?
No.
Didn't play any.
If you don't practice, you don't play.
You don't play.
You know the rules.
I know the rules. I know. I have to ask. I mean, I just got to ask. And Fulton's number, how many do you think they had sitting out tonight then?
Well, as far as not dressed, their number 1 and number 2 receiver have a broken wrist and a broken collarbone. Their best running back did not play tonight. Well, their leading rusher did not play tonight. And then 2 linemen did not play tonight.
Their 2 receivers, are they done for the year?
I think the one with the wrist will be back to play the Oak Ridge game. That will be 4 weeks.
I thought he might be able to come back.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the collarbone. I didn't know when it happened. So.
I think the collarbone.
Well, it's high school's like anything else. You got your ups and downs.
Yeah.
You got your highs and lows, and sometimes you're on top of the mountain and you do everything to defend it, and then sometimes you're on the bottom of it trying to get back to the top. And man, it's hard once you slide off the top.
It is.
It is hard to climb back up there.
And Central's figuring this out. You're everybody's best shot.
Yeah.
When you're in that sit spot, you get everybody's best shot.
You do. You get your best shot.
I mean, I've watched people beat us in basketball before, and you would think they'd won the state championship. But that shows you the amount of respect people have for you when they win and act.
When you go, you know that you're going with a big target on your back, and that's what I think's happened to Central, a team. I'm not going to say they got lucky and win the last 2 because I don't think you get lucky and win a state championship.
Yeah, no.
I think you got to have some. You got to have some talent. You got to have some. You got to have some good coaching, And I think they've had a really good coach. I'm not saying the coach there today is not a good coach, because he's probably a great coach. It's his first head coaching job, though. But, I think Central, like you just said, now everybody wants a shot at Central. Who doesn't want to knock the king off the top of the hill?
That's right.
I mean, I would. I wouldn't even want to, if we weren't going to try to knock them off the top of the hill, I wouldn't go play. Hey, let's jump out and take another break. We come back, we're going to talk just a little bit of Tennessee football, and man, disappointing is all I got to say. We'll be back just in a couple minutes.
What are you disappointed about?
Okay.
$1952. That's the year Hammers opened the first store in East Tennessee. Now there are 5 stores, and there's always something new. Like in Hammers' popular ladies' boutique department, you'll find the lowest price possible on new arrivals every week. Find similar deals in the men's department and the expanded rug department. Plus, special purchases always offer surprise savings. You never know what you'll find next at Hammers.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Renai, hot water for all.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your local Ferris dealer is S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Scoreboard.
Hold on.
How did that happen?
So did we just hear that numbers that you turn into TW Display can change from what you first submit?
382. Their average daily
Attendance.
was 354.
So do you go by daily average attendance or by enrollment? I thought you went by enrollment.
You go by what you turn in for BEP money. So if it's 382, you go by the numbers they turn in. If they've had 382 is what they're getting paid, but it's BEP numbers.
354.
Well, it can't be if.
So that's what was put on
The original number.
Well, I don't see it. Whatever they turned in is all the money they're going to get from the state of Tennessee at 354. If it's 382, then they're shorting themselves money. And you're not going to do that. So it's 382 now.
There you go.
So there it answers the question because they shorted themselves.
Does that change their division, maybe?
Listen, that's...
That would have been single A.
Now they're 2A.
That's why...
District 18.
That's why they cut that out. Used to be you could turn in a number, and that's what they went by. They said, no, we're going to take the number you give the state of Tennessee, because that's the correct number. That's the money that you're getting from BEP money. That's what funds the schools. That's where you get your money.
I'll say this, and this is my quick answer to the question when somebody says this to me. Well, you know, I hate that we're going to be one of the smallest teams or one, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, look at your sports programs. Tell me how many kids out of zone that you have helping your sports programs, and if that changes your classification, there's your answer.
Simple. Now, they and I think some on the program now, Brad said, you can tell me if I'm wrong, did they not say that Oliver Springs is down to like into the 200 range? And they've lost 200 or 300 kids in the last few years?
At 2016's numbers, 2015, there were 404.
404?
Down to 281. But they had some kids that were rezoned.
Where'd they get rezoned to?
Harriman or Kingston 1.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't hear if y'all talked about that. If they talked about that, I didn't hear that. So what we're trying, I don't know if you can hear Brad or
welcome
not.
Back.
Can hear, welcome back. But you can't hear Brad. We're trying to get some classification numbers like on Oliver Springs and Rockwood. But anyway, that's what we were talking about. Because classification sometime in the next 30 days, I would think. Coalfield's number changes or stay about the same? About the same. 162. 162. Is that Brian, let me ask you a question. Is that 162 K through 12 or just 9 through 12? 9 through 12.
I just got to ask this question, Brad. You might know the answer to this. This is coming from a diehard Clinton fan. Does Anderson County High School have to count the kids that are in the alternative school that are on their campus? So since those kids are in a different location, I gotcha. Yeah. So if there's 12 high school kids,
look up there, I don't know what the grades are up there.
K through 12.
K through 12
or maybe not K through 12, maybe 6 through 12 or something.
Okay, yeah, it's some alternates.
But I guess what happens is if one of those kids gets to leave that alternate school and go back to Clinton or go back to Anderson County, then their number that to start the year would be counted.
I don't know how many kids that are up there have to stay up there all year or get a chance to go back. So okay. I don't have any idea.
There you go. There's the 1A numbers. And that changed Rockwood obviously going up, so they will now be in 2A. But that's always a very interesting region here. Great to follow with Coalfield and Greenback and Oliver Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Rockwood going away. So I want to go back to the comment that you made before we left about
what's that? How
disappointed or how, I can't remember the word you used. Would you disappointed in the Tennessee-Georgia game?
Yeah. You know, all you heard was how tough Tennessee's offensive line was going to be and how much tougher it made them for Cade Mays to come on board and, you know, all this and that. And oh, they're worth 14 points themselves. Well, they couldn't block me. Well, they might be able to block me. But, you know, talk about how slow they are. And I'm not just talking about one of them. I'm not just throwing the Mays kid under. I mean, he couldn't do it by himself, that's for sure. But I'm talking about the whole offensive line. You know, you got a guy that's at center. It's his sixth year there, Kennedy. They didn't, none of them, I mean, here's the bottom line, just for somebody that watches a lot of sports, and that's, I do, like you watch a lot of sports.
Well, you're retired.
Well, yeah, I'm retired. That don't make no difference. I've done it for a long time, watched a lot of sports. One team goes into the locker room at halftime. You always can see adjustments. Okay, you can see adjustments if you know what you're looking for. Tennessee went in the locker room and made 0 adjustments. Georgia went in the locker room and made a whole heck of a lot of adjustments. They decided we're going to put the pressure on them, and we're not going to give them a chance to throw the ball down the field no more. Because I think Georgia said, we're having trouble covering them. Tennessee's got some pretty good receivers. But if you're laying on your back, or they're swatting at the ball and knocking out of your hand, you don't have a chance. And then the next thing that really griped me was Pruitt said, I never thought about changing JG out. He's the best we got. Well, when it's 40-something up, why not play somebody else? Why not give somebody else an opportunity? And if anybody thinks tomorrow's game with Kentucky's a pushover, they're crazy. I won't be shocked if Kentucky don't win that ball game tomorrow. I won't be shocked if they don't win it by 2 touchdowns tomorrow.
I don't know if they'll beat us by 14, but I do have a lot of concern that Tennessee will not win that football game tomorrow.
I said earlier.
They should have beat them last year.
Yeah, they should, and I said that. I've already said that. I said earlier I didn't know if I'd pick Tennessee or not tomorrow. It's sort of like picking against them. When you pick against them, they wind up doing something great. Maybe I ought to do that just so they'll make me look bad and take it. Or when you don't, or when you pick them to win, they always make you look like an idiot. They made a lot. I think Tennessee took a lot of steps backwards last week. I think a lot of people thought, and I think here's the answer to the question. A lot of people thought Tennessee football was back. I don't think Tennessee's football near close to being back as what true diehard Vol fans think they are. Tennessee football is not back 100% yet.
No.
And that's you. You're that true diehard fan.
I think it shows how far Dooley and Butch ran in the ground.
I can go along with that.
Because they have made huge strides. When I went over there to watch them play the other day, you could tell they had offense and defense linemen that looked like they belong out there. 2 years ago, you'd go watch them play Georgia. It looked like a bunch of men playing with boys. Now, Georgia's still better.
I'm going to be honest.
Caden Mays looks the part. Smith looks the part. They've got the size.
Looking the part and playing the part is two different things. It's like the announcer said about Caden Mays. He's slow. He doesn't move very well. I don't know about Trey Smith to speak. I just think they got whipped across the front for a team that wants to run the football like Pruitt does. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bad-mouthing Pruitt, not one bit. It seems like I am, but I'm not. I think he's done a really good job.
He just don't have them back to the upper tier.
He just don't have them back to the upper tier yet.
You're right.
And I think a lot of fans thought, and I might have been one of them that thought Tennessee will play Georgia a good football game. But I'm gonna tell you something. Georgia is a better football team.
In every aspect.
In every aspect, they're getting a lot of credit, but they're a lot better than even the credit they're getting.
But Kirby took over a better situation than Pruitt did.
Yes. But I think if Nick Saban doesn't coach the Alabama game tomorrow, I think Georgia will beat Alabama.
Yeah, no.
What are you shaking your head for?
No.
Even if Saban's not on the side.
It doesn't matter. He ain't going to be over there. He ain't going to be over there.
Who ain't going to be over there?
Saban.
If he passes his test tomorrow, he possibly will be.
Butch Jones will have his helmet on, and he'll be zooming Saban.
Is Butch a full-fledged coach now?
I don't care.
Or is he still a $35,000 coach?
I don't know. Now, if he's full coach, we wouldn't be paying him, right? We should be paying the difference.
I think we're paid out, ain't we? We're just about paid out on him, I think. I think we're finally out.
There's never been a bigger loser in the program than that guy's head football coach.
Well, you think Dooley was better than Butch Jones?
He wasn't a loser. He's just he got there because his daddy. Butch read a book and fooled everybody. Dooley just got a job because his last name.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You know the name of that book?
I know the initials of it.
Well, you might know the initials of it, but I just want to know if you know the name of it, because I'd like to go buy it, because I'd like to make the money.
Be a millionaire.
Be a millionaire, make the money that he makes by full.
I know the initials of it. It starts with a B and ends with S.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but I'm going to go buy that book, because I might be the next coach over there. You can't never tell. So,
I hear you. But, no, I think Pruitt's done a great job.
He's done a good job.
I think he got him going the right direction. The concern, and I did not get to watch that game live. I was at a wedding. I did not get to watch the game. Kickoff 3:30, wedding 3:30. Big sin. You don't get married in the fall.
That's true.
At 3:30.
At 3:30.
Okay. I've already told them that.
That didn't work, though, did it?
They don't care.
Yeah.
They didn't even listen. Sort of got frowned upon that I brought it up, but I did. So, you know, I didn't get to watch it.
Not any of it?
I didn't get to watch any of it.
Well, you didn't miss nothing.
Well, Sully and I were following it on our phone during the wedding. And obviously, they couldn't establish the run.
Nope. In
the first half. They were very fortunate to be where they were score-wise at halftime. And I think you could tell just by looking at the stats and the turnovers, the kid at quarterback is not the answer to get you to that top tier. He's not the answer. But if you can't run the football, as Coach Gaddis says, and stop the other team from running the football, you ain't got a good chance to win.
That's true.
And those D-lines and offensive lines in Butch Jones's era and lately were so bad that you couldn't really establish the run. You couldn't stop the run.
But you know, Butch Jones had a few pretty good defensive linemen. And Bennett and those, he had a couple good defensive linemen.
But it takes more than a couple.
Well, it does, but if you've got a couple, I don't know that we've even got a couple right now. Even Tua didn't play very well Saturday at linebacker.
And he's a football player.
And he is a football player, and I like to watch him play. And listen, he hustles, man. He gives it all.
They're still minus a couple linebackers. He does no help at linebacker.
Who's the kid? And I was reading about him. I can't remember his name today. He was in the paper today, talking about him coming from Catholic. And he's just a freshman.
I've never witnessed a kid get so much hype and do so little.
Yeah, I mean, who? If
Barron
or something. Yeah, there you go. If he's that good, why is he not playing?
He hadn't done anything, but he gets so much hype.
Well, he gets a lot of hype. He had a whole story about him today.
They've run that story twice, by the way.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
They're looking for something to write, apparently.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point.
But yeah, I don't know. I think tomorrow is big.
All right, now it's time to be serious. What do you think the score will be tomorrow?
I think Tennessee wins 31-28.
31-28. Wow. I'm going to say, let's see here. I'm going to go a little bit different than you, and I'm going to pick
Kentucky.
I'm going to pick Kentucky 24-10.
24-10.
Yep.
I just hope Kentucky somehow ends up being Kentucky and Tennessee wins.
And I'm picking them just maybe Tennessee will make me look bad so they'll get a win. But
I think it's a good pick, and I'm going with what I want to see happen. But Tennessee,
I could see 30. You think Kentucky can put 31 points? I mean, do you think Kentucky put 28 points?
I think
if they put 24, they can put 28.
I think it's the same thing as last year. Can we stop them from gaining 10 yards on 3 consecutive runs so they don't run out 6 to 7 minutes of drive?
Yeah, and Kentucky's got a fairly good defensive front, too. So
yeah.
Here's what I want to see Tennessee do tomorrow. I know they're going to have to throw the ball some, and I'll give you that. I want to see Tennessee pound the ball tomorrow. Yeah. I want to see us rush for about 250 yards tomorrow.
It might be more of a 24-20 ball game. That's
24-20?
Maybe more in that ballpark.
I could buy that. I could buy that score right there really easy from what I said. So 24-17, something like that maybe. I could buy that.
I'm worried about stopping the run.
Yes, most definitely. You know, and if Tennessee loses to Kentucky, the only game on the schedule that would really tell me that they might have a chance to win
Vandy
would be Vandy.
Arkansas is not a guarantee.
And no, Arkansas is playing pretty good football right now. And, you know, Texas A&M, you know.
What happens if he only wins 3 games this year?
Wow. Just received a new contract extension.
Seriously, what happens?
I think you put him in that. Tennessee has to put him in that category. I don't think you fire him. I don't think you can afford to fire him. I don't think you can afford to fire him.
But does it hurt your recruiting?
Well, it might not hurt him this year with what he's already got committed. I don't think he's got overcommitments right now, I think. So, no, I don't think it does. What I think would hurt his recruiting class this year would be Pruitt's on the hot seat. You on the hot seat, you know you might not play for him. You know, there's some.
Go ahead.
There's some coaches that probably are on the hot seat, but they can't be. You just can't get rid of them. Malzahn's probably one. Guy out Middle Tennessee's middle is one. There's a couple more that's their payoff is so high you can't get them out. South Carolina.
Stark still down at MTSU's on the hot seat?
Yeah, he's on there. Well, he's not doing nothing. He got blowed out by Army.
Really?
Yeah, 40-something.
They won a conference championship a couple years ago, didn't they?
It's time to move on, you know.
Yeah.
So
his son graduated.
You know, maybe that's another job Lane Kiffin take. Go down Middle Tennessee. I don't know. South Carolina, listen, he'd go to Auburn in a heartbeat.
Did you see how bad Banks County beat Oneida?
Yeah, it wasn't. Was it real bad? It wasn't real bad, was it?
I thought it said 43-14.
Well, that might be. I thought it was something to 10. So I didn't see it. Hey, what did you think about the Florida coach Dan Mullins blaming the loss last week to Texas A&M because of the fans? Have you ever known a fan to play a football game?
I didn't hear what he said.
He blamed it because he said he thought they had more fans than they were supposed to have in the stands.
I would need to hear his comments because he's the second best head football coach in the SEC.
Yep.
Behind Nick Saban. So this Saturday he'll be the best.
Who?
Dan Mullen be the best.
No, he won't because they're not playing.
Oh, they're off.
No, they got COVID.
See, I've been out of the loop.
He makes the comment and then winds up with, I won't say 21 players has got it. They shut it down and they said no.
So when they reschedule that game? When they reschedule those games?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've seen the schedule, but I don't know when it is. Here's what he wanted.
December 14th.
He wanted a full 90,000 stadium, and his athletic director told him no.
Good for him.
We'll go by the guidelines.
If you were Dan Mullen, you'd want a full stadium too.
I wouldn't think that the fans were going to determine that I'm going to win the game. Texas A&M just won the game and whipped them.
Yeah, you're right.
As far as I'm concerned, I've never been beat by somebody sitting in the stands.
But if you were Florida coach, you wanted that place to be packed out.
Well, I probably would want it to be packed because you do want it to have home field advantage. But I just and for a team that's went from, you want to talk about a team that's went from the penthouse to the outhouse? Let's talk about LSU Tigers. From the penthouse to the outhouse. Quickly, out of the top 25.
They should be.
And you're right, they probably should be.
Two things we want to talk about before we go off the air.
All right, let's talk.
Number one, congratulations to the Anderson County girls volleyball team making state tournament.
Oh, they make it?
They made it the other night. And since we're talking college football, Coastal Carolina.
Hey, I watched that.
Beats a top 25 team.
First time ever.
First time ever. And their head coach, Jamie Chadwell.
Hey, and they've only been playing Division I for a couple years? Is that right? Since 17?
FBS for 3 to 4 years.
Has he been there the whole time or just recently? He just there recently?
Now you're asking me a question I should know the answer to. I think Jamie Chadwell, this is his third year.
Looks like he's got from what I see, he's got a really good football team, a really good quarterback too.
We should have had him called tonight. I did not think about it. So, but yeah, very big win.
The announcers last night were predicting them to win that side of the conference, to probably have to face off against Troy maybe.
Or Louisiana Lafayette again.
Louisiana Lafayette again. Yes, I did watch that game last night.
2017, first year. So he's been there. This is his third year. And they've been FBS, what, 4?
3.
Is it 3?
3 going on 4.
Okay.
17.
Yeah. And he came in as the offense coordinator and the first assistant. And then the guy that got all that up and running and donated all the money stepped away. He was the CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Was a head football coach?
Ameritrade. Yep. Yeah. His dream was always to be a football coach. He left Ameritrade, retired, went to Wisconsin as a grad assistant, 2 years, worked there as a volunteer assistant for 2 years, and started up the Coastal Carolina, took the job, started up, dumped a ton of money into it, got him to be FBS, hired the staff that he sort of got there now, then turned over to those guys.
And he's smart. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
because their coach, I mean, they've assembled a really good football team, a team that is going to make some noise this year, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to
Powell, Oak Ridge, who you taking next week?
Oh, I'm taking Coach Gaddis and the Wildcats.
Wildcats.
I'm taking for a big upset. I think it's an upset.
Where's that game being played?
Well, that's a good question. Might be on the road. I'm not for sure.
If it's at home, let's go watch it.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. It's a big game.
If it's up,
where's Fulton at next week?
Fulton's out west.
Ooh, that'd be a tough one. They better take all their ammo. So anyway, but all right, folks. We're just going to jump out, but we'll get this call here. Somebody's going to call and tell us. I wonder who this is. Go ahead, call you on the air.
It is at Oak Ridge, Powell and Oak Ridge.
Powell and Oak Ridge. All right. Appreciate it.
All right, see you.
All right, see you.
Wonder when did he get permission to call?
I don't know. He showed up here last week and sat in a little while with you. I had to put up with him. That was crazy.
Well, now I know my job's safe.
Yeah, it is safe. You got that for right. He sat over there, and he was out in left field big time. You know,
fair weather fan.
Fair weather. I guarantee you didn't go to the game tonight. He'll let on like he's right on the sidelines, or he was with David Clary and he knows everything. But I guarantee you, he wouldn't. He must have somebody that calls him, gives him updates or something, because he knows nothing about.
OEB game of the week next week?
Oz and Cofield, man.
Oz and Cofield.
That's the place to go next week. Man, we're going to see a good football game probably. It's probably where man ought to go.
That game is at Cofield?
It's at Cofield, yeah.
You think we know anybody can get us in?
Yeah, Brad Jones. Brad Jones gets in. I'm thinking about I might come. I'm serious.
Well, let's go one of the two.
We might. All right, folks, we'll see you next week here right on the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard. We're winding this thing down. Knock on wood. Everybody be safe this week. Have a good weekend. Be safe, and have a good week, and be safe during the week. And hopefully the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. We'll see you right back here next Friday night at 10 o'clock on the 5-Star Prep Friday Night Scoreboard. Go Vols.
Week 10's coming up.
Week 10's coming.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Make this spring all about enjoying the experience. When you ride on your new Ferris commercial mower featuring patented suspension technology, you'll have more than freshly manicured grass. You'll experience productivity and comfort like never before. And because you won't be slowing down for those rough spots, you'll mow more lawn in less time. Ferris, experience suspension.
Your local Ferris dealer is SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Call 865-354-0600.
Mr. Walker.
A lot of years have passed since that TV ad. Hammer stores are still offering up-to-the-minute fashions for men and women, famous label outdoor wear and boots, area rugs, and exciting purchases. All at Hammer's famous low price.
Race on down!
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
and the hot water wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the
drum, playing the guitars like shooting from a gun, keeping up the rhythm, steady as a clock, doing a little thing called the hillbilly rock. Some say it came from Memphis, down in Tennessee, or it drifted in from Georgia about 1953. Just as long as it's greasy, as long as it's fast, as long as it's pumping, honey, it's gonna last. It's a hillbilly rock, beat it with a drum, playing in guitars like shooting from a gun, keeping up the rhythm, steady as a clock, doing a little thing called the hillbilly rock. In old Kentucky where the bluegrass grows through the red, burning like a fire running wild in the woods. From Arkansas to Texas, it sounds so good. Hillbilly rock, beat it with the drum, playing them guitars like shooting from a gun, keeping up the rhythm, steady as a clock, doing a little thing called the hillbilly rock. So when the heat starts to rise and then you gotta blow some steam, take her right down the river, you'll see just what I mean. The juke joints jumping when that cat goes on, the whole place is shaking, there's a something going on. It's a hillbilly rock, beat it with a drum, playing them guitars like shooting from a gun, keeping up the rhythm, steady as a clock, doing a little thing called a hillbilly rock. Doing a little thing. I'm alive.
And welcome into this week's OEB Law Game of the Week as the Purple Pounders are in town to take on the Mavericks of Anderson County. And, man, I'll tell you what, we are in AC. I've been looking forward to this game all year long because this is where they do it right for high school football with pomp and circumstance. You would expect it from a big-time college program, and it's great to be a broadcaster tonight for BBB TV.
Oh, you're absolutely right. This is a beautiful scene. Nowhere better right now than Anderson County, and I expect a big-time show tonight.
And we are brought to you by OEB Law. OEB is an East Tennessee-based law firm with a national practice. OEB is led by Timothy G. Elrod. Elrod is from right here. He still calls it home. OEB's practiced in state, federal, and city courts. At OEB, they treat their clients like family and are proud to have earned a reputation as East Tennessee's premier personal injury law office. And that's why they've been voted the best of Knoxville for the past 3 years. So Anderson County's been so good in recent memory, and that I don't think it's any different tonight. The Purple Pounders of Chattanooga Central aren't as good, as you know. Honestly, it would be probably ambitious to expect any type of competitive game tonight. That being said, it wouldn't be too ambitious to think that we'll see some big, exciting plays from the home team while also getting a scout on a 4A team that has a chance to make a deep playoff run. You think that sounds about right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. As Chattanooga Central has been giving up nearly 40 points a game. So we should see a lot of big plays, and I'm sure Anderson County is hoping to get some depth, more experience in this game, as it'll help improve their whole team moving forward.
So on a quick note, Harriman had to cancel its game against Greenback tonight because of COVID-19. You know, this is a devastating blow to Travis Tapp's playoff chances because a win would have given them a great chance at the playoffs by holding a tiebreaker over the Cherokees. Now Greenback will get a win, which will give them a leg up on that race. So that is a disappointing game, or a disappointing piece of news for Harriman and football fans alike of the Greenback and Harriman communities. So I tell you what, there are some exciting matchups across the area, and we will talk about them when we get back. You are tuned in to your OEB Law Game of the Week.
OEB Law is excited to be a part of this year's football season. School spirit is at an all-time high. OEB Law is proud to give back and support our community. Come cheer on these great teams with us. And remember, if you've been injured or need legal help, OEB Law will be there for you. So visit wreckintoacheck.com or give us a call, 865-546-1111, and let OEB Law turn your wreck into a check.
The Harriman Utility Board is committed to providing safe and reliable natural gas service to our customers in Harriman and Roane County through the use of safe operational procedures with trained and knowledgeable personnel. An odorant is added to natural gas and maintained to a certain level so that in the event of a gas leak, it can be easily detected. If you smell or suspect a natural gas leak, please call the Harriman Utility Board at 882-3242. We can be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We built our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
Here is Helen Hammer. Thank you, Mr. Walker. A lot of years have passed since that TV ad. Hammer stores are still offering up-to-the-minute fashions for men and women, famous label outdoor wear and boots, area rugs, and exciting purchases. All at Hammer's famous low prices. Race on down!
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the hot water wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.
Feel the comforts of home with natural gas. Natural gas tankless water heaters cost almost 3 times less to operate annually than the electric models. Make the switch today.
Renai, hot water for all.
And we are back at Anderson County. I am Aaron Harvey, joined by James Gibson. This is the OEB Law Game of the Week. Chattanooga Central has made a very long drive to take on the Mavericks in a region game, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, you know, we got a lot to talk about, as one would expect in Week 9. We're getting very close to wrapping up standings, so let's quickly talk about a playoff picture that will pretty much be decided tonight. Oneida meets up with Meigs south of the river. Somehow we're talking about Oneida trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and somehow we're both probably thinking the Indians are going to they're going to be expected to fail at that. What kind of chance do you give the Indians tonight?
Well, I'll always give the Oneida Indians a chance, as that's one of the better football powers in East Tennessee. But listen, Meigs County is playing some excellent football right now. Listen to this. Their defense has only given up an average of 7 points per game this year. That's impressive in itself. With the type of competition they've played this year, pretty tough.
Yeah, and you see the Region 2A standings right there. Rockwood has that leg up on Oneida because Rockwood defeated Oneida a couple weeks ago. We had that game. But if Oneida can pull off the upset, it would shake the playoff picture up quite a bit. But the more likely scenario, Oneida will be looking at Rockwood tonight to see what the Tigers do. Why? Well, because what I just said. Rockwood defeated Oneida a couple weeks ago, but Coach John Webb's team still has 2 region opponents. First, Wartburg tonight, then Cumberland Gap to put a bow on the regular season. If Rockwood takes care of business tonight, we should be able to give you the final playoff seeds for Region 2. Let's quickly mention the visiting Wartburg Bulldogs for a second. Former Wartburg and Rockwood coach Larry Davis is now an assistant for Coach Webb, but it's your alma mater taking on what you called your second home as well. So what does the Rockwood-Wartburg matchup mean to you?
Oh, it's always one of the biggest rivalries for me personally. It's a game that I grew up watching on the sidelines of Rockwood, where my grandfather coached, while I was also attending Wartburg schools. It was a game I always got super excited for, and it was always a tough, close game.
And when I first met you, Jim Hoot Gibson was an assistant coach for that Rockwood team, and we were going all the way back to, 97 or something like that? That's when I first met you?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yep. So, Coach Hoot Gibson, that was one of his final coaching stops.
His last, yeah. Well,
next to last.
Next to last, yeah.
All right, so we've got a lot more to talk about, some really big rivalries going on tonight and some other heated playoff matchups for seeding, and we'll do that when we get back. This is your OEB Law Game of the Week.
You won this year's chili cook-off. Our girls played in the softball finals last spring. You're not just another policyholder to us. We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
He remembered my name.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense.
Ask Griffin Insurance Agency in Kingston if auto owners make sense for you.
Jeff, Mary, Dan, Sarah.
Planning a funeral can be difficult at best, but it can be a lot easier if you work with people who care. That's Davis Funeral Home in Harriman and Wartburg. Davis Funeral Home gives attention to every detail, ensuring your loved ones will be remembered with honor and integrity. Davis Funeral Home works very hard to give you the most professional service possible. Davis Funeral Homes, Morgan Avenue in Harriman and Old Mill Road in Wartburg. Davis Funeral Homes, people who care.
Hi, I'm Ray Varner, and we've got the vehicles you need to make the most of this season.
Whether you're exploring the great outdoors or cheering on your favorite team, let's take your fall to the next level in this new 2020 Ford F-150, $24,990. New 2020 Ford Explorer XLT, $40,986. New 2020 Ford Fusion, $19,698. At Ray Varner Ford in Clinton, we are Ford Truck Country. Come and see us today. Shop RayVarnerFord.com.
Welcome back into your OEB Law Game of the Week. As you just saw on your screen, next week we will be at Coalfield for a huge Region 2 Single A matchup as Oliver Springs visits the Yellow Jackets. So we'll look forward to that one, but we're not going to talk about it just yet because we do have so much stuff going on. You know, one of the most heated rivalries in East Tennessee commences for the 62nd time as Bearden goes to Farragut. It's a region matchup, which of course is important, but you know the Bulldogs and Admirals have played each other every year since 1974. That means the rivalry has lived through Disco, New Coke, Seinfeld, 9/11, and Justin Bieber, all right? And I know you're aware of the gravity of this game.
Oh, yeah. With these two teams being so close in geographic location, many of the students have friendships or connections outside of the school setting, so it adds to the rivalry. Bearden's only 3 wins over the past 17 years, listen to this, was in 2007, 2012, and 2018. So they will definitely have their work cut out for them tonight.
You know, one of my coworkers is a Bearden grad. He's a Bearden alum, and I asked him, I said, how much do you hate Farragut? And he said, now or then? I said, well, you know, I guess then. He goes, well, you know, now I've been out of it so long that it doesn't really bother me so much. But then, we hated each other because every single time we met, there literally was a fight, and so it's very heated. So Bearden is fighting to stay alive in the playoff hunt, and a loss tonight could bring that hope to an end. Another game that most people have circled for a few years is the Elizabethton Cyclones meeting the Green Devils of Greenville, which had won every game of the decade between the two until last year. Jason Witten's old team beat Greenville not once, but twice on their way to a state championship in a perfect 15-0 season. Greenville's not been as good as previous years and is breaking in its third head coach in 3 years, still with Eddie Spradlin. Does this game still set your radar off?
Oh, yeah. Elizabethton holds a modest edge over their biggest rival in Greenville. In a series, listen to this, that began in 1924. So big rivalry, but the Cyclones have won 40 of the 75 head-to-head meetings. In 2020, though, Greenville has won 4 straight games, but I do believe that's going to end tonight as the Cyclones Elizabethton are probably going to take it.
Now, listen, you might wonder, hey, why are we talking about that? We don't care about those teams. Well, guess what? We're in Anderson County, and Anderson County is probably going to end up playing one of those teams in round 2 or 3 of the playoffs, I would say, like they have in the past. So last year it was Elizabethton. The year before that it was Greenville. Anyway, last night, Scott High took down Northview Academy, and Pigeon Forge kept Austin East winless. This tells us nothing that we didn't already know. In Region 2 3A, the winner of the Alcoa-Gatlinburg-Pittman game is going to finish first. The other will finish second. The other 2 spots, however, are still up for grabs. Right now, the 3 teams vying for those spots are Kingston, Pigeon Forge, and Scott. As you see on the screen, Kingston is unblemished in region play, so naturally you would think that they've got a firm grasp on that 3rd spot, but the gauntlet of the region still awaits Kingston. It's Alcoa tonight, it's Pigeon Forge next week, and then a season finale against GP. Pigeon Forge has both Kingston and Scott High left, and Scott High only has Pigeon Forge remaining. Next week will be huge for the prospects of postseason play.
Yeah, this region has been a battle all year long. There are so many good programs in this region that it makes for great games week in and week out. Look forward to seeing how the playoffs work out for this region because it's been a battle all year long for it.
It has, and it's always fun when playoff spots come down to the very last weeks, and that just so happens to be the case here in Region 2 3A. Another game we got to mention from last night, the Red Devils of Halls defeated Central, and that wasn't a COVID forfeit. That was legit. Halls got an interception in the waning minutes of that game to secure the 2016 victory over the 2-time defending state champions. That makes Region 2 5A very interesting, as there's a hotly contested 3-way battle for 2 spots. Halls, Seymour, and Sevier County all have an opportunity to get in there. How about that win last night for Halls?
Well, speak no more than Hall's speedster, wide receiver Nolan Faust. He totaled 4 receptions for 165 yards. Every time he touched the ball, he was running away from people. They clocked him at 4.4 in a 40-yard dash. Big win for Halls. Total, Halls has 3 players that run a 4.4. Ooh, that's impressive.
Wow. So I just did that math in my head. 165 on 4 receptions. That's 41.25 yards per catch.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Speed kills.
Yeah, that's been a fun one to watch, too, and seeing Halls have the season that it has had.
Everything that they've been through this year, and for those guys to rally and get a big win like that is awesome.
Yeah, and, we started out talking about how great that they started, and then we said, okay, but they've not really hit the beef of their schedule yet, and we thought once they do that, then we'll get to see the real Halls. But the real Halls beat Central last night. That's a pretty big deal.
Big statement. All across East Tennessee paid attention to that win.
As we see the presentation of flags as the color guard here at Anderson County High School.
I think we might be having a tribute to Van Halen here in the pregame.
I'm so excited to be here at Anderson County. They do pregame festivities like none other. So let's go ahead and stand for our national anthem. National Anthem brought to you by the Anderson County Band and the presentation of colors. So I tell you what, now that we got that patriotic moment out of the way, it's getting closer to game time. So let's go ahead and take another break, and we'll talk about this Anderson County game when we get back. This is the OEB Law Game of the Week.
OEB Law is excited to be a part of this year's football season. School spirit is at an all-time high. OEB Law is proud to give back and support our community. Come cheer on these great teams with us. And remember, if you've been injured or need legal help, OEB Law will be there for you. So visit wreckintoacheck.com or give us a call, 865-546-1111, and let OEB Law turn your wreck into a check.
The Harriman Utility Board is committed to providing safe and reliable natural gas service to our customers in Harriman and Roane County through the use of safe operational procedures with trained and knowledgeable personnel. An odorant is added to natural gas and maintained to a certain level so that in the event of a gas leak, it can be easily detected. If you smell or suspect a natural gas leak, please call the Harriman Utility Board at 882-3242. We can be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I just never remember him with facial hair. And welcome back to the OEB Law Game of the Week. As my cohort James Gibson here is talking about my daddy. And I'm sure we've talked about this before, but you and I used to be neighbors. That's how we met each other. I moved into your neighborhood, and we used to jump on the trampoline and pretend to be wrestlers and all that fun stuff. And look at us now. Years later, it's, 14, 13 or so years later, here we are. And right now, you mentioned that Van Halen tribute that Anderson County's going to do. So check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, I got chill bumps. And I realize that it's like 50 degrees outside, and people might think that's why. But actually, Coach Gibson, he closed the window here, so it's kind of stuffy in here. The chill bumps are from these pregame festivities. As you see the fireworks, you got to hear Van Halen. You got to see slowly the team walk out. And then run through.
Like I said, it's one of the best atmospheres in all of East Tennessee, and they put on a show over here. It's fun to be at a game.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here tonight for this one. So, let's talk about Anderson County a little bit. 2 losses on the season. It's the first time since 2016 the Mavericks have had this many losses through 8 weeks, believe it or not. However, it's important for us to note that 2020's losses have come against 2 5A powerhouses, South Doyle and Powell, which each sport a 7-1 record. I think it's safe to say AC isn't struggling.
Not at all. 2020 has been a hard year, and it's been a tough schedule. But that's just going to prepare them for the playoffs. This is a good team.
We've heard the saying time and time again that if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. Coach David Gillum might disagree with you, as we'll likely see two quarterbacks tonight for the home team. Stone Hatmaker is the name most people probably recognize as the signal caller, a senior, but Walker Martinez is a sophomore with tremendous upside. What are your thoughts on this two-quarterback system?
You do what works, and for them, they are lucky enough to have two very talented QBs. They don't have a designated starter, and basically whoever has the best week of practice, that's who they start on Friday night. I know Coach Gillum is very high on sophomore QB Walker Martinez, so keep an eye on the young man, on the young signal caller, on a bright future ahead of him.
All right, the Purple Pounders of Chattanooga Central, they've got one win on the season against a winless Sequoia team. That's not to say that schedule's been favorable, as this team has seen the likes of Baylor, Notre Dame, and Tyner. Still, no one in this building is expecting a win tonight. As a player and a coach, what's the mindset of the team that just traveled about 2 hours and 120 miles to play one of the best teams in the state?
Losing one game is hard enough. Losing multiple games in a row is downright torturous. It hurts to lose. Athletes and coaches make huge sacrifices to succeed in their sport. They expend a lot of effort in their preparation from the start of the season all the way to the from the end of the season all the way to the beginning of the season and the off season. So it's easy for losing to feel like failing. And when losses start piling up, it's easy to feel like the world's crashing down on you. As hard as it may be, and as much as people will resist this, it's vital to stay positive, stay the course, and get yourself out of the losing streak.
Okay, on the flip side of that, if you're AC, this is a game everyone from Jesse Smithey to my 7-year-old daughter Ava is picking you to win, okay? So what do you hope to accomplish tonight?
Do what you do and do it well, then work on your weaknesses. And get your younger players a lot of repetitions, as this will help thrust you into the playoffs.
We are moments away from a coin toss. We're moments away from a kickoff. It's week 9 of high school football. We're here thanks to OEB Law and a whole list of sponsors, and we're so glad to be with you tonight. We're going to take one more break, and we'll have kickoff and more when we get back. This is your OEB Law Game of the Week.
OEB Law is excited to be a part of this year's football season. School spirit is at an all-time high. OEB Law is proud to give back and support our community. Come cheer on these great teams with us. And remember, if you've been injured or need legal help, OEB Law will be there for you. So visit wreckintoacheck.com or give us a call, 865-546-1111, and let OEB Law turn your wreck into a check.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
The Harriman Utility Board is committed to providing safe and reliable natural gas service to our customers in Harriman and Roane County through the use of safe operational procedures with trained and knowledgeable personnel. An odorant is added to natural gas and maintained to a certain level so that in the event of a gas leak, it can be easily detected. If you smell or suspect a natural gas leak, please call the Harriman Utility Board at 882-3242. We can be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Here is Helen Hammer. Thank you, Mr. Walker. A lot of years have passed since that TV ad. Hammer stores are still offering up-to-the-minute fashions for men and women, famous label outdoor wear and boots, area rugs, and exciting purchases. All at Hammer's famous low prices. Race on down!
So we see the coin toss on the field as we are getting back to your OEB Law Game of the Week. Chattanooga Central has won the toss. They will receive. So we will get to see the offense of the Purple Pounders first.
And last year, if you remember, the Purple Pounders actually had some early success against Anderson County running the football.
All right, so we got a lot of Anderson County fans that are on board with us tonight, helping us bring this game Not the least of which is, of course, Tim Elrod at OEB Law, but also Ann Coria, Anderson County Public Defender. Ann was born and raised in Anderson County, graduated from Oak Ridge High School. Tim Shelton, Anderson County Register of Deeds, serving the citizens of Anderson County since 2002. Jeff Cole, Anderson County Clerk. Jeff has 3 offices that serve the residents of Anderson County in Norris, Oak Ridge, and Anderson County Courthouse. And Congressman Chuck Fleischman, a big supporter of high school football and our broadcast each week, who served Anderson County in Congress since 2010. Thank you, Congressman, for your tremendous support. As we get ready for our Davis Funeral Home kickoff, as Anderson County will kick left to right to Chattanooga Central.
Beautiful night for football, about 54 degrees, not a rain cloud in sight.
Now, this kicker that you're going to see tonight, also the punter for this Anderson County team, Daniel Bethel, has an offer from Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and has also been in contact with COVID negative Nick Saban. As we got the news today, he tested negative, so that's good. Here's Bethel's kick. It is a spinner that will land in the end zone and result in a touchback. So Chattanooga Central will take over on the 20 for the first play of this ball game.
I'm interested in seeing how they come out offensively against this Anderson County defense.
So the Purple Pounders will begin their Sexton Automotive drive with a Hammers 1st and 10. And we'll see what they do. See, they've got these funky numbers, which we hate in broadcasting. They start purple up top, and then they fade to white on white jerseys.
You just can't see it.
No. That'd be all right. We'll get through it.
Spread formation.
Here's a snap. A quick slant, almost picked off as that was fast. It falls incomplete. We'll bring up 2nd and 10.
He's extremely lucky that wasn't a big interception there for the Anderson County defense. You see here, he didn't even really look. He just caught the snap and threw, and there was double coverage there.
Threw it behind his intended target, David Rogers. And this is Evan Schwartzel at quarterback. Michael Watson in the backfield with him. Here's the snap. Watson gets the handoff.
That big defensive line for Anderson County holding strong.
Yeah, tried to go behind his guard. Got nothing on that.
They won the battle up front, and East Hamilton wasn't able to get any push with the offensive line. They just couldn't gain anything.
You mean Chattanooga Central?
Oh, yep, Chattanooga Central.
That's okay. 3rd and 10 at the 20-yard line. Schwartzel brings his team up to the line. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Redirects his tailback. Hard count, and we've got some flags on the play. Dead ball, false start. Pounders. So we'll back up 5 yards, and we'll have 3rd and 15 instead. I like those backup sounds. I like that.
Again, the theatrics over here in Anderson County are unmatched.
They are.
Third and long for Chattanooga Central.
And we got cowbells for 3rd down. You'll hear that.
Now, what do you do here if you're Chattanooga Central's offensive coordinator with 3rd and long?
I tell you what you do. You call a timeout and try to figure it out. Purple Pounders want more time, so we'll give it to them. This is the OEB Law Game of the Week.
OEB
OEB Law is excited to be a part of this year's football season. School spirit is at an all-time high. OEB Law is proud to give back and support our community. Come cheer on these great teams with us. And remember, if you've been injured or need legal help, OEB Law will be there for you. So visit wreckintoacheck.com or give us a call, 865-546-1111, and let OEB Law turn your wreck into a check.
And welcome back to your OEB Law Game of the Week. 3rd and 15 is what Chattanooga Central will face as Schwarzel brings his team back out. Again, it'll be Watson in the backfield. Schwarzel drops back to pass, lets it go over the middle of the field, and it's almost picked off, but incomplete. And Chat Central will have to punt. What'd you see there?
He dropped back, had a little bit of pressure, released the ball. Just didn't get a good release out of his hands with the ball.
Yeah, that was easy to see. Thank you to our Jeff Cole replay. And so back in punt formation for
Dangerous
Chattanooga Central
territory
is McKinley Bacon. Bacon's punt is not pretty. It does get Chattanooga Central bounced, though, before it rolls dead at the 46-yard line. So Anderson County will begin its first Sexton drive in positive territory with the Hammers 1st and 10 at the Pounder 46.
You don't want to give a team like Anderson County good field position like this right off the bat.
So, Anderson County comes out, changes the play up, and it is Martinez, the sophomore, getting the start again for Anderson County. And we've got a stoppage in play, a delay of game, and so AC starts out with a 5-yard penalty. Not really a good way to start this offensive football game. That backs him back up into Maverick territory. Martinez from the shotgun position. Going to call the same play. 2 wide receivers at a time, either side, and a quick out is caught and dropped immediately.
Great job by the Chattanooga Central cornerback, eluding the block, coming up and making a good secure tackle.
And that was Zach Shannon on the reception, but you see on the Jeff Cole replay, it was Ryan Elliott out there that kind of, or maybe it wasn't Ryan Elliott, it was actually Bryson Vowell out there, kind of missed a block. Martinez back to throw. He's got one-on-one coverage, running it down. Does he catch it? Nope. Pass ball is incomplete, and that is Vowell, but a flag comes down, and it was a late flag. Now, you kind of jumped up a little bit. I don't know that you were expecting that one.
Let's see what the replay shows before I go to jumping out of my skin here, because, you know, I'm a defensive guy. I didn't see enough there to warrant a flag.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Jeff Cole. No, I didn't get a good look at it right there.
He might have been hanging on the back of the jersey. It's hard to see from there.
Well, regardless, it is a pass interference penalty, and that is a 15-yard penalty, and it is also an automatic first down. So Anderson County, by virtue of a penalty, is spotted at the 36-yard line of Chattanooga Central. Martinez gets to play from the sideline.
I definitely see a favorable matchup for Anderson County in the slot wide receiver position at the top side of the field against the outside linebacker.
No safety help. And a handoff gets across the 30 down to about the 28-yard line. And for Anderson County, that's Gavin No.
6'1", 225 pounds, and he's got some good field vision.
Also a starting linebacker on this team is No. And he gets the handoff again, tries to get to the outside, does, and there's a flag on the play. That's in the area of what would be a hold, I would think. No, it's a block in the back. All right, so that penalty will be marked off from the spot of the foul, and the foul was
right there behind the plate.
Yeah, the foul was across the line to gain. So, unfortunately, that takes away a first down. Saw that very clearly on the Jeff Cole replay. Martinez brings his team back up. Second at about 10. Pumps, fakes, downfield, and that pass is incomplete. He didn't have control of it before he went out of bounds. And that was Martinez trying to hit Vowell again.
Good play call there, but if the quarterback could have just put a little more air underneath the ball, led the wide receiver more, that's touchdown.
Yeah, so it looks like they set that play up with the first play that they ran, that quick out, because that was basically the same play except a different target was hit. 3 wideouts to the left side for Martinez, and finds his man, and I believe he's going to be short of the first down is Garrison Terry. And that will bring up 4th down. So you see this on the Jeff Cole replay.
Anderson County changing personnel. Looks to be run heavy.
Pistol set with an H-back. Martinez gets the play from the sideline. There's a snap, handoff, and with the first down and more is no. And will he go down? No. Down across the 10. That will bring up a Hammers 1st and goal from about the 9-yard line.
He's just riding the bull there, guys. He drug him 10 yards, and that's good hard running by a 225-pound man.
Well, that's what a Maverick does, isn't it? Now look at that.
Runs through the tackle. Excellent job by the big running back.
All right, 1st and goal just inside the 10-yard line. Martinez, snap, handoff, no, up the middle again, cuts it to the left, finds the goal line, touchdown Anderson County.
Great run again by the Anderson County big guy, but he needs to turn around and say thank you to the big offensive line on the left side.
And that is a Tim Shelton touchdown. 6 points on the board with 7:29 left to play in the first quarter as Bethel comes on now for the Mavericks to attempt the extra point. Sound system in here is great too. Just everything about this is amazing. And Anderson County having to run a guy on late. Play clock running down. Bethel does get the kick up and off, and it is straight through the uprights and good. Mavericks score first with 7:29 left to go in the first quarter. They lead this one 7-0 on your OEB Law Game of the Week.
Evans Mortuary has been serving the needs of families in and around Roane County since 1976. As established members of our hometown community, we understand the security of dealing with people you know you can trust. We build our reputation on this trust. The Evans family appreciates the confidence the community has expressed in us over the years and will constantly strive to earn that favor. Evans Mortuary, 805 North Gateway.
OEB Law Game of the Week, Aaron Harvey, James Gibson. The Mavericks lead this one 7-0 as we get set for your Davis Funeral Home kickoff. Second time Anderson County has kicked off to Chattanooga Central as the Purple Pounders won the coin toss, elected to receive. We're forced into a 3-and-out, and Anderson County took advantage and put it in the end zone. That's where we stand right now.
I'm anxious to see a shorter kick by Anderson County just to give his kickoff team an opportunity.
Well, you're not going to get it. Bethel kicks this one all the way to McDonald's. And the Pounders will start again at the 20-yard line. So this section drive, again, will begin at the 20.
Pretty big deal for a player in this part of the woods to have an SEC offer, so that stands out.
So your Hammers 1st and 10. Immediately handoff. And was the ball on the ground?
No, I believe that has pushed him back. The offensive line or defensive line is really winning the battle in the trenches right now. The offensive line for Chattanooga Central is going to have to really stay low and drive their feet and try to work their way to the second level before they will have success in the running game.
Anderson County's Sexton drive that resulted in 7 points was 6 plays, 42 yards, and took 2:31 off of the clock. So here's Schwarzel. Hands off to his fullback and fighting for yardage across the 21, maybe up to the 22. So here's Schwarzel.
Getting whooped up front by the Anderson County defensive line. And Gavin Noe, the big sophomore linebacker, coming in and making a good tackle on the Chattanooga Central running back. He's a real good-looking ball player for Anderson County.
Running back / linebacker. For some reason, it's like linebackers do make good running backs.
In high school, they definitely do. Al Wilson, Tennessee great, was a very good high school running back.
So the quick pitch out to Watson goes for maybe a yard, which will bring up 4th down again. And Chattanooga Central will have to punt this football away.
Just nothing there. The Anderson County cornerback and defensive backfield coming upfield, making a good tackle. Not much room to run for the Chattanooga Central football team.
So Bacon back deep to punt this one away for Central.
Chattanooga Central has got to get off the ball.
Here's the punt. This one is maybe a little bit better. Fair catch is called for and made right about midfield by Garrison Terry. And the ball will be spotted at the 49. That's where this Sexton automotive drive will begin with that Hammers 1st and 10. And again, Anderson County starts in positive territory.
Hard to have success if you cannot get the ball down the field.
Martinez back in at quarterback. 2 wide outs either side.
Changing the play.
Handoff goes to No. No cuts it back. Trying to go to the outside and is tackled around the 45-yard line. A quick pickup of 4 will bring up 2nd and 6.
He really made that pickup easy. You see here, he runs through the tackle.
Central set the edge, so he cut it back inside and picked up 4 solid yards. Clock runs under 5 minutes. The 45-yard line. Martinez hands off to No. No again goes to the left side. Off tackle and is brought down around the 42-yard line, and we'll have a 3rd and short.
Anderson County's backside offensive line does a really good job of chalk blocking the defensive line of Chattanooga Central, which really takes an effect later in the ball games. Slows down that pass rush.
Well, it says 3rd and 3. Martinez gets the call from the sideline. 3 wide outs to his right. 1 to his left. Again, No in the backfield.
Screen draw.
No, it's a straight handoff to No. No gets to the 35 down, fighting his way to the 30-yard line. And that will bring up another Hammers 1st and 10.
Big McKinley Bacon, number 54, the big defensive lineman, got a ride for another 5 yards there.
So, you know, watching No run through there, it's like he's frolicking through a field.
Yeah, he's got a lot of room, but he's a big, strong running back that's hard to tackle. You cannot arm tackle him. He will run through it.
He aggressively frolics through fields as we got to pass out. A corner route is caught, and that pass is complete to Bryson Vowell. Vowell brought down inside the 20-yard line. And that's enough for another Hammers 1st and 10. As we see on the Jeff Cole replay, just a little corner route.